bit ahead of key talks later this week with the U.S.
Iran's president again has pledged his nation is not after a nuclear...
Townhall.com. The IRS and Immigration and Customs Enforcement have a deal.
The agreement allows ICE to submit names and addresses of immigrants inside the U.S. illegally to the IRS for cross-verification. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons told reporters in Arizona the agreement will help ICE find people who are using someone else's identity to collect benefits.
We wouldn't be targeting individuals who have work authorization, as you said, because if you have a work authorization, then you have some type of status in the United States.
Working with the Treasury and other departments is strictly for major criminal cases, Lyons says. The Treasury argues the agreement will help carry out Trump's border agenda. Advocates say the data sharing violates long-standing privacy laws. I'm Marcela Sanchez.
Authorities say all the suspects are in custody after a shooting in Virginia killed 3, wounded 3 others. Happened at a townhouse community near Fredericksburg, Virginia, about 65 miles southwest of Washington. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. Let's have a listen. What does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio. Yeah.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy middle of the week, everybody.
Yes, Wednesday.
Right in the smack dab middle of the week.
Halfway day. This has been a very, very long week. At least
for you, probably.
It really feels like a long week for me.
No Coach for you, so that probably drags it out a little bit.
You know what it feels like?
Yeah.
Do you remember when you were a kid? I don't know if you had this experience and you were in like a sport, like, you know, baseball, little league, whatever, soccer,
sure.
And you went to practice.
Mm-hmm.
Mom, dad, whoever dropped you off, ran a couple of errands. They're off doing their thing. And you're sitting there on the curb, and then you keep seeing headlights come up over the horizon. Like, oh, no, it's not there. Wait, is it? No.
Yeah.
No.
I picture me doing that, sitting on the curb in front of the school or something.
I just had that distinct feeling this morning as I'm sitting on my front porch waiting for for the wonderful and amazing, by the way, thank you so much for this week, Mike, to pick me up. And I just keep seeing headlights coming, shining off the car coming towards my house. I'm like, no, it's just somebody leaving for work. Okay. No. Should I? Okay, no. I'm just going to watch another YouTube video. Screwed.
Very cool.
But hopefully today is the day. I say hopefully. It's
fingers crossed.
It's going to be today, or I'm going to have to send it away for major repairs if it's not what I think it is.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the guy that I have who's working on it, by the way, WM Diesel Tech, if you ever get a chance, check him up. Look him up online. But after I described it and also let him hear what it was doing over the phone, he said, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So, and we already had our assumptions because it was making some interesting noises for weeks.
So he'd heard the pre-diagnosis.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Well, hopefully it is the thing, the thing you think it is the thing, and then you fix the thing,
I really think it's this thing. It better be this thing for as much as it's going to cost.
Well, fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
But Happy Wednesday.
Yes, welcome to it.
It'll be a warm one.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be like upper 80s today, 88.
Nice.
For a high today. So, and I chose to wear long sleeves. That was a stupid idea. But I'm glad now, but.
Yeah, we're both wearing like a Heather.
Yeah.
Style.
I'm literally in Sweatpants City. So.
Nice. Shite to match.
That's right. I am in the epitome of comfort this morning. So, but happy Wednesday. Enjoy the warmer weather and less wind too. 5 to 10. We don't get 80s, upper 80s with 5 to 10 this time of year very often. Usually it comes with a 20 to 30 mile an hour wind. You
know what I heard the other day, just kind of like in passing conversation, was two people talking, and I heard somebody unironically, and I had to kind of like stifle a laugh, but unironically say, "Finally, it's disc golf weather."
Oh.
They said frisbee golf, but I was like, yeah. Like, finally, it's frisbee golf weather. I'm like, all right. I guess now the windy streak has passed. Now is a good time to get out there and do it.
Yeah, imagine wind and disc golf don't go well together.
Way.
I haven't never really played it, but I've played with frisbees in the past, and on windy days, frisbees don't go so well.
I have a friend who's an avid disc golfer, and they have different discs for different situations.
Yeah. I know they got it's kind of like clubs for golf clubs. Yeah,
which is really interesting because he always brings his big bag out. I'm like, y'all are just throwing frisbees at cages, right?
Well, I remember it's a bigger deal because I remember several years ago interviewing a young man, and he was probably 10, 12. He was relatively young. He's 47 now. I don't know, but I remember interviewing him, and he was a local young man, but he was like plugged into the disc golf circuit, like he was sponsored.
Really?
And all that stuff. Like,
wow.
It was a big deal.
That's what blows me away about certain obscure sports is whatever like obscure sport you happen to come across. Right now, there's an entire magazine devoted to just that sport.
Yeah, and if it doesn't fit, it's an obscure sports weekly.
Yeah, exactly.
I was reading about dodgeball, my this month's edition of Obscure Sports Weekly.
It's like I was such a happy boy when I discovered that there is a professional tag association. Professional tag. And it's intense. Yeah. Like I sat and watched it for a good minute. It's basically like hardcore parkour because you're trying to avoid this person coming after you at all costs. Is it like keepy with
the balloon same kind of concept?
It's more like there's one dude, or in some cases a couple of people who are trying to just touch you, and if you get touched, you're out.
Right.
But it's all these like different courses. There's like an upper level, a lower level, and it's all like cage work, so people are slipping under.
Okay.
And it's intense to watch. But I was blown away. I'm like, there's a whole like governing body that sits and has meetings to decide about the national tag tournament.
I hope it's like a boardroom with like a lot of mahogany and older guys in suits.
Oh, of course. A lot of harumphing going on,
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of boys from Brazil thing you got going on in there, but in here, I'm still the boss.
And then like on the walls are like pictures from the turn of the 1900s, but like old white dudes in real weird shorts and shirts from like that's the 1908 national championship tag team.
He's wearing our first ever rubber tagging cap. Yeah. It was a industry changer back in 1967.
That was the year they introduced those gloves with extra 3 inches of fingers. They banned them 2 years later.
My father, William Randolph Tagg, didn't start this association for no good reason.
Right? Oh man. Fun stuff. That would be good if we had that. Maybe we're going to movie. Yeah, they made a dodgeball movie, so
they made a tag movie. They did make a tag movie.
Oh, well, there was that one where they tag around the city and their friends. Yeah. That was based off a true story, I think.
It was
like one about the league.
Oh, right. But yeah, no, that was the director of that movie. It was his story.
Oh, okay.
He was one of the.
I knew it was based loosely on it, and because I remember at the end of the movie, don't they show real pictures of the guys that did it and all that. The extremes of which they played their tag games, and I'm sure it was dramatized for the movie.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Those guys were pulling murder plots and everything else in that one. They went extreme in that movie.
That is one of the more underrated movies. I think it came out at a time when people weren't going to the movies to watch comedies.
When did that come out?
2018.
Okay, I was like, was that pre-COVID or
I
post-COVID?
only know that because the director is he's directed several stand-up specials. He actually did Big J. Okerson's a couple of his specials, and he actually came on the Bonfire to promote the movie. And so yeah, it was in 2018. But it just sort of like flew under the radar. A lot of people didn't really know about it or see it. It's a great movie.
Well, it's on TNT or USA about everyone's at least a couple times a month. I see it on there. So
yesterday we were sitting at lunch, and my friend was searching for where to watch The Goonies, and it's literally not on any streaming service.
Really?
Yeah, you
see it on TV all
Fubo,
the time.
you can watch it but with ads and stuff.
I feel like AMC or one of those show it all the time.
Probably,
yeah.
But it's just those classic movies. You think, I can just pop those in whenever. Nope.
Yeah, you think to be on one of the free ones anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Could be lost media someday.
It'll be on Netflix soon.
Yes.
I love when they debut movies that aren't new.
Mm-hmm.
Now on Netflix, Draft Day. That's the one I'm seeing now. And
Look who's talking now.
I'm like, do you realize Draft Day? That was the year Robert Griffin III was a rookie when that movie came out. 15 years ago. New on Netflix, Draft Day. Oh, boy. All right, let me give you the rundown. We do have a full slate for you for today's show. We're going to start things off here talking with the folks from the Drought Contingency Task Force. Chantal Longwait, Tom Jennings, and Todd Decay will be joining us here. And I had a great conversation with them last time we had them on the show. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, we're going to have Kenneth Bewley join us. He's the Director of Research, Assessment, and Accountability for the Roswell Independent School District. Superintendent Brian Luck can't make it today. He's got other engagements, so he'll join us. Kenneth will join us to give us the skinny on what's going on at the school board, school district, and all that. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, we're going to have the folks joining us to talk about a Stop the Violence rally coming up here that they're going to be planning and putting together. And not that we have a rally. It seems kind of shouldn't have to have a rally to tell people not be violent. But anyway, we're going to have one of those, and we'll talk about that with them.
Seems like you should just be able to walk up to people, grab them by each shoulder, and just go, "Be nice."
All right. Sorry, I'm not trying to trivialize your thing. No, but
I'm inflicting violence by asking people to not be violent.
But it just seems like, some things are common sense. Stop hurting people. All right.
Makes sense.
All right. Speaking of time, let's get going here. 7:16. Here is your weather. Like I said, going to be nice most of the week. Downright hot at some point.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. No big changes for a while. Temperatures will stay warm and the weather pattern looks dry with that big high pressure system settling overhead. Sunshine today, we're headed for the upper 80s. Wind should stay fairly light. Down to the upper 40s and low 50s for the overnight hours and clear. And then we get a sunny Thursday. Looks like mid to upper 80s, low 80s, and sunny on Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. And currently 50 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 48%. Winds are calm at the moment. Like I said, it's going to be warmer today. Upper 80s, 88 are expected high today under sunny skies. Winds will be out of the northwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear tonight, looking at an overnight low to 49 degrees with east winds at around 5 miles per hour. Thursday, mid-80s tomorrow, sunny and 85. Northwest winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Friday, we're looking at sunny skies and a high of 84. South winds 5 to 10 early, 10 to 15 for the afternoon. And then for the weekend, sunny and 96 on Saturday. Yeah, we're halfway. A couple degrees from the century mark. Sunny 96 on Saturday, mostly sunny and breezy with a high of 93 on Sunday. Wow, Sunday night is we're going to be in the 60s for an overnight low Sunday night. I was just looking for the next week. We'll be 81 on Monday, but Sunday night they're saying mostly cloudy and breezy with an overnight low of 60. 60 for an overnight low. That's, I don't know. It's just tough to wrap my head around. That's pretty warm. All right, 7:18, we're going to take a 3-minute break, and then we're going to talk with the folks from the Drought Contingency Task Force on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Mustang lovers, mark your calendars. Thursday, April 17th is National Mustang Day, and Artesia Ford Sales is the place to be. Bring your Mustang, classic or modern, and show it off alongside fellow enthusiasts. Join us for a day of horsepower, history, and fun at Artesia Ford. Snap photos, swap stories, and celebrate the legend of the Mustang with us. Cruise in, show off, and let's make Mustang Day unforgettable. Artesia Ford Sales, where the Mustang spirit lives on.
The Eastern New Mexico University System is proud to present One Eastern Day, sponsored by J.P. Stone Community Bank on Thursday, May 1st from 4 to 9 p.m. on the campus of Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell. Come join ENMU for a family fun night featuring food trucks, inflatables, info booths, and live music by Roswell's own Grupo Maldad from 7 to 9 p.m. Bring out the whole family May 1st to ENMU Roswell and join us for One Eastern Day. Visit roswell.enmu.edu for more information. Eastern New Mexico University. Student success, that's what we're about.
Picture this. You're behind the wheel of a John Deere compact tractor. You're effortlessly breaking ground, moving piles of rocks just by moving a lever, and enjoying the sun as you clear brush across your pasture. We could keep trying to put you in the moment, but to really understand what this feels like, you just have to get in the seat.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia and Roswell, or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
At Martine's Capital Cafe, come in and enjoy a delicious variety for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Try our burritos, huevos rancheros, asado, chorizo, sausage, flantas, fajitas, chili rellenos, quesadillas, enchiladas, sopapillas, and don't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger and so much more. Everything is prepared with the finest and freshest ingredients. Martine's Capital Cafe. Quality, value, tradition, and the most delicious New Mexican food since 1989. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 to 8:30 p.m. at 110 West 4th Street in Roswell.
When managing a chronic illness, access to the right treatments makes all the difference. Artesia General Hospital's Infusion Center provides IV therapy and biologic treatments, so you don't have to travel far for care. Expert infusion therapy right here in Artesia. Call 575-736-8256 today to learn more.
What made Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico? Great selection, great savings, and great people. Roswell Hyundai has an amazing selection of makes, models, and model years to choose from. If you can't find it, Roswell Hyundai can get it. And Roswell Hyundai will take any trade. The experts at Roswell Hyundai will work with you to get you behind the wheel of your next dream ride. So, what makes Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico? You do! Come check out the Used Car Supercenter only at Roswell Hyundai, 1909 West 2nd.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The ball on top of a flagpole is called a truck. Mess with your friends today by pointing at a flagpole and say, hey, check out the truck on top of that flagpole. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in the studio this morning from the Drought Contingency Task Force, of course, Chantel Longway and Todd DeCare are back with us, and Tom Jennings as well. Good morning, everybody. How are we doing today?
Good morning, Roswell.
Good morning. How's life with water? How's the water doing this morning?
It's flowing. That's
go.
a good thing.
I guess that's some dry sense of humor, right?
That's right. But for folks not familiar, because we've had you guys when we talked before, but in case people missed our previous conversations, let's start with the general. Talk a little bit about what exactly the Drought Task Force. I mean, you can kind of figure out a little bit from the title here, but kind of explain what's the purpose of the board or the task force.
Well, the city of Roswell was granted a grant to allow us to come up with a drought contingency plan, which basically means if we ever get hit into extreme droughts, we have a way to come out of it as like a backup plan. So with that in mind, they had us get a task force, which these two gentlemen are a part of, and so we're in the midst of creating that plan.
Gotcha. So, I mean, is it, because I don't know, if, me as a dumb DJ just trying to wrap my head around this, I'm like, is it like they have the meetings like, all right, we'll just dig more holes? I mean, what kind of preparations do you make to kind of, because I'm kind of thinking it's like, well, we're living in the desert, we're out of water. I mean, what's where do you wrap your head around fixing this?
You want me to jump
ahead.
in here? Yeah, I've been on this task force, for a year now. And I think water is an important issue, and we have water in Roswell. and we kind of like to keep water.
Absolutely.
I think the main goal of of this task force, we want to learn to conserve water.
Sure.
Maintain like fire protection and sanitation.
When you turn on your tap, you want to make sure it comes out of it.
Yeah.
When you flush your toilet, you want to make sure it goes down.
Absolutely, because you only have to be without water for a very short time before you realize how important it is. It's sort of like electricity.
Yeah, no one
Once
cares
it's
about it
gone,
till you don't have it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we want to preserve, the natural resources and stuff that we have here, not just for us, but for future generations and our children's children and things like that. So.
Well, and I've been told, and I'm not native to here, but I've been here 25 years now, so I got roots now. But I always told, it's like, look, we have the hardest water in the world, but there's plenty of it. That's kind of the running gag on some of that thing. And so my understanding is, compared to other parts of the state, we are truly blessed when it comes to water situation here. However, this is where the rubber meets the road. Without proper mitigation, you always hear the water rights with Texas and everybody else, and you always hear the jokes about whiskey's for drinking, water's for fighting. You hear all the thing here, but really it's about the management of it. Even though we are in a quote unquote better situation than other parts of the state, by no means do we can't just start all right, let's just all turn on our hoses and dance in the streets while running around with the water. You know what I mean? It's one of these things where it's like, look, we got to put the plan in place because this has got to last us generations and generations and generations. So your grandkids, when they're, setting up life here, they got plenty of water too. And that's really what it's about. It's not like one day the water's going to be there under the ground, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh, it just stopped one day. It's not going to work. But without proper mitigation over years and years and years, next thing you know, down another inch, down next thing you know, we're...
Well, and this grant's allowed us to get monitoring wells in a way. So it's called a bubbler.
Gotcha.
And you just drop a hose down in there. And I got 3 of them, and we have 1 installed. We're working on getting the other 2 installed. We're working with people that know more than we do about it to figure out where we'd get the most bang for our buck in a way, where we'd get the most coverage.
Sure.
So that will actually be able to show us if maybe we start going into extreme drought, 10 years of that, maybe we might need to start doing something.
So these are kind of your alarm systems, basically. It's saying, all right,
part of it.
We ain't hit the threshold yet, but these babies will tell us when we're getting close. And we're like, all right, we need to do something now, but we really need to do something now. It's kind of that mindset.
One of the things that's really important is Roswell lives in a recharging basin, which means that with rainfall, our water basin, which is like a big bathtub, fills back up.
Gotcha.
Pretty soon after rains.
That's why you should be very thankful every time we get weekends like we just had.
If you go east and north of Roswell, you get into the Ogallala Aquifer, which Portales, I think Hobbs, Clovis, Tucumcari are in a basin in a lot of West Texas, Kansas, all the way up in, I think, South Dakota.
Okay.
So it's a huge, big bathtub. And everybody has their straws in there, and they suck out the water for farming and stuff, and it draws the water way down. And that basin recharges very slowly. But Roswell is fortunate in that we have one that refills itself soon. And so we really have a good place to be. One of the unique places. Roswell's also...
we just have good nature's plumbing, I guess, where it just drops the water right.
We're fortunate in that regard. And the Pecos Valley was one of the first water basins in the United States and world to monitor wells. So our forefathers 50 years ago, they've been doing it for about 50 years, they started monitoring all the wells so they keep people from just pulling the water out and not using it wisely. Everybody's monitored, so we reduce some of that conspicuous consumption.
Sure. And another thing and I imagine this is the side you work with too, is and this is already taking place, and this is a good thing, but because we are a farming and ranching community, and dairy capital of all of that here, and it takes a lot of water to do all that, to feed the cows, but a lot of that is being replenished. Like when I know there's a deal like with the cheese with the Leprino, where the water they use goes back to the crops to go and to water the alfalfa and the hay and everything to feed the. Yeah, so there is a kind of a cycle there that goes on with the water in there. But I imagine that's probably the other part of the thing is not only monitoring stuff, but all right, what can we do to reuse the water we got and keeping it in the system? I mean, that's probably part of what you guys deal with, right?
Yeah, and Tom's really good about that. He's actually really pushing for like water harvesting and stuff like that for any new city properties in a way.
Yeah, there's a couple buildings that in Roswell recently, the Game and Fish office in the Cielo Grande Park area have cisterns or water tanks. They capture all the water off of the roof.
Gotcha.
And they put that water to water their landscape, or they save it in ponds. There's a couple new doctor's offices on West Country Club that also have big tanks out there.
Nice.
So we're seeing people, commercial businesses.
As some new construction comes in
yeah,
there. Yeah.
And, it's really important because unfortunately, some of the Roswell new construction, like the rec center, the water just goes into the off the roof into a gutter into the street.
Sure.
And
coming to an intersection near you.
Yeah, coming to and it causes flooding and it causes damage to our streets.
Sure.
Yes.
But we're not saving the water, and we could let that water percolate into the ground and recharge our basin as well.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
But it just saves a lot of water, and wisely, and free.
And, I think the other piece that we were looking at that was new to me, and I knew like infrastructure issues related to, water in our town and other towns. The United States, has kind of historically neglected some of this. It's not fun to work on sewers, and say, send those project forwards to legislators that
Sure.
are fixing things. But they're really, really important, like roads and sewers. And, when we have these main water breaks and things like that, and we're losing water, we want to make sure that we're providing good water for our, constituents.
Sure. I imagine, some of that, too, is, for folks that haven't, and we've been talking about this for years, but, we're kind of the state, and this is nationally, really, where all these pipes that we put down in the ground, they're past their service lives and things like that. And so we're seeing all over the country where, because all these pipes were put in, give or take, roughly around the same time and things like that. And so I know, and of course, we've been talking about it for years. There's been parts of town have been torn up and unavailable for months because they've been coming in and replacing some of these major pipelines that are with these old materials. And so that's part of the plan too, is eventually you get better materials that, like you said, keep the leakage at the minimum and things like that.
Well, and the state is working with, I think it's Google, it's a company, and it's called Hydro Delta.
Okay.
And they use satellites where they can look down and they can see where leaks are before they're exposed.
Gotcha.
So it's leaking, but it's not where you can
It's not stopping the flow or whatever.
Yeah, so
kind of a piece of gum in the way.
If that ever goes live with the state, which it's kind of gone live with the state, but if they start pushing it out on municipalities, that might be a tool. We're looking into that.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, all's on the table at this point, and this is something that I guess we forget, or people forget sometimes. We live in a desert. We live in an arid part of the country. We're not supposed to have, because of the climate, if we had it, it wouldn't be brown. It would be green. And so with that being said, by nature, whatever water comes to this area, it is a valued treasure. And so, at the very least, people listening, just, do your part. The very simple stuff. I get it. You love to take your 30-minute showers or whatever. All right, let's tamp that down a little bit. Let's, we don't
shower with a friend. Just save water.
Whatever part of you guys have, that's up to y'all. But you don't need to leave the water running for 10 minutes while you're brushing your teeth. You know what I mean? Just little things like that do make a difference.
Oh yeah.
And if everybody did that a little bit, that makes your guys' job just that much easier. So.
Yeah. And check your leaks. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I find leaks all the time. I go out to properties and they're like, I don't have a leak. I'm there for 10 minutes and I end up finding it, and then they get it fixed. It saves them a bunch of money. They're happy. I'm happy.
If you got an older house, something's leaking somewhere. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, my
If
house.
something's dripping somewhere or something.
My house was built in the 40s, and I'm constantly finding things.
You'd always sit in a kitchen or a bathroom, and all of a sudden it's quiet, and you hear doop, doop. Like, where's that coming from? But yeah, that's that. As we as the public, that's our part. That's what we can do is do those things. Making sure your sprinkler systems and your stuff's doing good. If you're having that broken sprinkler head when you water, get that fixed, because that's a huge user of excess water.
And now's the time to really look at it, because now everybody's starting to water.
Yeah.
It's starting to get hot.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, doing the watering thing. Don't pick high noon in the middle of May to start watering your lawn.
30 mile an hour winds.
Yeah, 50 mile or 80 mile.
Yeah. You might be watering Texas.
Wash your neighbor's car. One of the other areas we should look at is planting or utilizing native landscape in our yards.
Yeah.
In
true xeriscaping. Like, not what they, not the stuff they show you on TV or whatever.
Using native plants require less water, less chemicals, and less maintenance. You don't have to trim them as much. You use less for grass, bushes, trees. If you use native stuff, it's just a lot more economic, and it does save water, and you don't have to water as often. You don't have to trim the stuff.
And it looks more natural and pretty.
It does, and there's a lot.
God's a pretty good gardener. Just saying. There's a reason God didn't put, some of the trees. You don't see a lot of weeping willows hanging around here. Just saying,
We have desert willows that have flowers almost all summer.
Yeah,
and they're real pretty.
And they're designed to thrive in climates and don't require as much water. And that's when the city's got their sapling event coming up here, when they do these kinds of events, they go and pick trees that are deliberately designed to thrive and do well here in our climate, meaning dry, lack of water. So, when you go to those use those kinds of plants, use the things. And if you're, one of those folks that, I pay people to get in the dirt. Okay, well then, go towards the just throwing some rocks on your ground is not xeriscaping. Just trying to tell you, there's more to that. It's about picking the right plants. And yes, we're not covered in fescue grass all over. That's not native. You know what I mean? So maybe let's try some things that do work, like you said, and talk to your Roswell Seeds and all those people out there. They can help you navigate all that stuff.
Keep Roswell Beautiful and is having their tree giveaway. I think it's this weekend.
Yeah, that's coming up.
And they the first time we did it 20 or 30 years ago, we gave away ash trees. And we only gave away one species of ash trees. And a lot of those trees, unfortunately, got weevils, and a lot of them died. Now when they select trees and bushes, they're using a variety of trees. So we don't
6 or
just
7
have
different
one tree.
types. Yeah.
And in the bushes and stuff. So we've learned as we go. And that's what we're trying to do, is prepare a program so we can get our community ready in the event of a drought.
Absolutely. And by the way, planting those trees and stuff, that's, that does help with the, yes, they suck up water, but also provide shade, which in essence, burns off less stuff. And, so it's
lowers
kind of
an electricity bill.
Yeah, it lowers electricity bill. There's a lot of, water saving advantages to planting trees if you plant the right ones.
And we're planning on putting this plan into the city master plan that is being under works right now.
Yeah, people probably have heard, if you've been kind of keeping your head up and about and around it, that's kind of a big thing right now. And obviously this is very much a part of that, because without water, it don't matter the rest of it. I guess you could kind of you can imagine the nicest things, but if you can't, get water to it and keep it for years to come. So let me ask this. I know you guys are tasked, but are you looking for volunteers? Is there always looking for folks to be a part of the drought task force?
I invite people all the time during my contact. Tell them it's the second Tuesday of every month at 4 p.m. at City Hall.
Yeah.
We would love more people to show up. So far, we haven't had a lot of people.
Well, a lot of people have opinions. I'll tell you that. Let's get them on the table here and let's work it out. I get it. I love ranting and raving on Facebook as much as the next guy, but it don't solve a dang problem. Let's get out here and do some work.
I think a big part of the task force is to educate people.
Absolutely.
And also it's about educating us. I've learned an incredible amount about our water, and we want to get more people are educated, the better decisions they're going to make. I'm on there because we represent with Eastern New Mexico University Roswell. We're a large water user.
Sure.
And we want to maybe change our practices, how we're doing things and how we're doing our landscaping.
We can all do better.
Also on the board, we have the Roswell representative from the Roswell Independent School District who's a large user as well.
So you're getting actually entities that are,
Yes.
very invested in where our water goes.
Yeah. Well, we're asking ourselves questions too. We have regular residential users, like how are you using? We have industry people on the board as well, represented from one of the hospitals as well, who use a lot of water. And for economic growth for the future, we have to have water.
Sure.
We have to have water.
Well, and this is it. When we don't manage it, we don't be good stewards of it now, it will go away. This is a finite resource. We're reliant on, and as long as we get a rain every once in a while, we're okay. But there might come a time where we don't see a rain for a while, and at some point, it's not going to recharge.
You ask about volunteers, but what we're really looking for is Todd said, is to educate people.
Gotcha.
But everybody should volunteer, and everybody participate. And we get, if we can educate people about it, they understand it. Then they can make better decisions.
Absolutely.
And use the best practices for water in their yard, like you said, not during the middle of the day when it's blowing 80 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Or you can water early in the morning or late in the afternoon.
This is your house. This is your home. This is your community. If you're like me, you want to make sure your home's as nice as possible. And I think most of us subscribe to that. And this is part of that. This is it's simple stuff. It's just like you said. It's just those little. And I know, I think. But guess what? If everybody did that, you know how many gallons of water that you ain't got to worry about now that just don't go down the street or go off.
Washers are pretty cheap,
Yeah.
and they stop a lot of water.
Yeah, it is literally simple. And by the way, you might even notice your water bill getting a little cheaper. And I'm pretty sure you. No, I'd like to pay more, please. No, no one's saying that. I'm just saying. You might, and then you're like, guess what? We can go see a movie because we stop running the water for 20 minutes while we're brushing our teeth. I'm serious. Little things like that do add up after a while.
Yeah.
You'll notice that you're like, hey, my water bill's $10 cheaper, or whatever it is.
I worked with a couple last year, and they were like, our water bill is always this, always this. I'm like, what changes have happened? Their son moved in. 30-minute showers every day, multiple times a day. And I was like, I think that's your issue. Turns out it kind of was.
Let's stick to tubs. Maybe you can fill up the water ones and just leave it there for a little bit. But yes, life does. And you don't realize something that little can significantly impact your water bill. And this is why, constantly talking about, making sure those pipes to your house and all that, if those things are got a leak in those, I mean, that'll run up a water bill real quick and obviously waste this water that we can't get back. So that's why you as consumers, like Tom is saying, is be proactive in your own backyard. Doing your things the right way, water properly. If you do have those water leaks, get them addressed. Let's not just turn on the water and daily around it without a reason for it. Maybe not. Maybe go take your car to the car wash instead of washing it out in the front yard there. Save a little water, because the car washes they have all kinds of where they recycle that water back in, and it's put it this way, their whole job is water, so they spend a lot of time messing with that water, and they want every drop of it. So those are just little things like that, and that you can do here. Is there any? I know we're getting a little short on time here. Is there any topics, anything we definitely wanted to talk about the public that I've kind of spaced on, or we didn't get a chance to talk about? I know, we definitely talk about awareness and stuff like that.
Campaign at all that's going out there that you may see?
The hotels.
So we're working with hotels currently.
Okay.
To try, because there's some mom and pop hotels that don't have the tools to
Sure.
talk about, like,
well, it's a lot of money to convert to some of this stuff.
reuse your towels. This just like simple things that we as a city can help provide.
Sure.
With the grant. And then right now, starting April 1st to April 31st, it is Water Conservation Month. So there is a pledge that's supposed to go out on Facebook sometime soon. I don't know when. But I encourage all the city civilians here to go on and do that pledge. And it's a contest throughout the national region, and so we can see where we rank, and you can also win prizes, this, that, and the other, just for...
Well, you got to have some kind of incentive and fun with it, right? But the big picture is everyone's a winner when you're actually doing some of the things, because you're gonna have nicer things, have less bills.
And it's a fun little competition to see where Roswell ranks.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, and that's always a bragging rights thing and kind of do your thing. So, but please, and I'm going to assume if you go to the city's website, you can probably read more about some of that stuff there.
They're supposed to be putting it up.
Gotcha.
I don't know if they
Just
have
keep checking back roswell-nm.gov there, and you can. I think there is a water conservation tab on there.
There
I believe.
is.
Yes, you can find it on there too. By the way, if you want to learn about the library and everything else, pay your water bill right there on the website. It's a very valuable tool. If you remember City of Roswell, you've never been on the website, I highly recommend you go take a day, take a few hours, and just meander through that. A lot of good stuff there. So. Like you said, you guys meet the second Tuesday every month at City Hall. What time do you guys meet? 4 p.m. It is a public hearing, so if you would like to come and hear and be a part, and love to have you. We have these public hearings for the public. The public should come to them. Because this is how your city is run. This is how your community is run. You want to be involved with it? Come to these meetings. Come to whatever your passion part is. Maybe it's not water. Maybe it's another part of the city. There's generally a board or committee that's maybe it's a cemetery. They meet all the time. Get involved. This is your community. Yes, we have our elected officials, but a lot of them are volunteers and just regular members of the public that serve on these various committees. And if you want to really get involved in the direction of your community, that's how you do it. So, come to the next meeting. Come get involved. Come maybe there's some information, some things that you can offer that you guys are like, hey, we didn't think about that. Let's see about that. Let's work on that. That's what these meetings are about. Because at the end of the day, all of us need the water. All of us want to make sure it's happening, and all of us have to do our part to.
I mean, as a democracy, that's our role too. Civic engagement. We need people
Absolutely.
to be involved, and a lot of people love to complain. All right, but if they're participating, I have a feeling they complain a little bit less.
Well, you see how the sausage is made.
Exactly. You get a chance to see how government works and all.
From your perspective, yeah, that's easy. Let's do it that way. But let me show you the whole picture.
It's complex sometimes.
Yeah, and this is why, like I said earlier, it's fun to get on social media and just spew because, yeah, you're right all the time there. But if you really, really want things fixed, come to these meetings. Get involved. See where you can do. Start by turning off the dang sink when you brush your teeth. I mean, let's start there, and then we'll go from there.
One of the ways you can save water, too, is using a tankless water heater.
Yeah, that's a great option.
Because some people heat water 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Yeah, they're great if you got a lot of people in your house, and you don't have to wait on the shower. That's a. Well, I mean, unless you got a lot of people. But more than average, you'd be all right, too. So.
Yeah, if you're not using that water, you don't have to waste that energy heating it.
Absolutely.
And it makes a big
8
difference.
hours a day when you're at work, you're not heating it.
Yeah.
It's just
and then when you do need it, it works. Like it's not
pretty
like
amazing how well they work.
If you need to go high energy, they can match you. But when you're not doing that, it saves you money in the long run. Yeah, my father-in-law and them, they have one, and I kind of I'm going to sit here and just go to the I don't care. I just took a shower. I'm going to take another one. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, those are absolutely some great and we were talking about new construction. I know this isn't water related, but if you're building a new home, maybe some of this geothermal stuff, as far as heating and cooling your home, that's again another environment friendly, really utility bill friendly, and it basically uses the earth. The earth's core to help heat and cool your home, and it's a CVE building in Artesia is one of the first buildings I know of that they use that technology. And yeah, they dig into the ground, but yeah, it's a little costly for initial construction, but in the long haul, and I'm sure the resale value if you sell your house or whatever and it's got it, probably pretty good. But I think it's the way of the future. It's just another thing to look at. If you're
water harvesting, insulation.
Mm-hmm.
Geothermal.
Yeah, all these things.
All modern design techniques that can save water, save energy.
And they work.
Save time, and they work.
They work. They're not the swamp cooler cooling. anybody has any questions about anything, is there other than the city site, is there, like, do you guys have a Facebook or something that folks can reach out to?
Well, on the city website, if you go to the conservation page, there is a Fix It Help Desk ticket. And
Okay.
if it is set up correctly, it goes directly to me and I can answer any questions. Also, if you have questions, just call Water Maintenance and Mary Ellen will answer the phone. She's the secretary there, and she can get you in touch with the people that have the answers.
Yeah, if you call up and say, hey, I saw the drought board on the radio this morning. I want to get more involved. They can put you in touch. Excellent. Did we get it all? Is there anything we wanted to cover?
I'd also say look at the internet if you have any questions on how to conserve water.
Lots of tips there.
Modern programs, design. There's a lot of information out there that's accessible and cheap.
Chat GPT.
Absolutely. Yeah. I would definitely, if you're considering some new construction, really, you need to look into this stuff because you could probably save some money. And I'm going to take a stab. There's probably a lot of incentives when you buy some of these things. You know, if you're going to go with some of these alternative energy, alternative resources things, a lot of times you'll get little incentives, little tax credits and all kinds of stuff for that. Look into it. There varies from time to time. But my point is, if you look into some of that, you might save a little money on top of energy efficient, but save yourself a few bones while you're trying to build this sucker.
And it might save you today, but in the future it'll save you in the long run. So those added efficiencies make a big difference.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're trying to do, is trying to change the direction today to make a big impact tomorrow.
We got to evolve. It's like, let's put it this way. You ain't sitting out there with torches on your front door anymore with fire because we got electricity now. You know, I mean, this is what we're evolving. Now they got a different way to get you heat and air and how to do water. Let's start evolving to these practices. We don't, I get it. Tried and true does work in many things, but sometimes things advance. Without it, you wouldn't have your telephone. You wouldn't have your car. You need to look at it in those terms. It's like, look, the technologies to how to get these things to us, utilities, are different than they were when you were a child. And we need to start, embracing those practices, because if we don't, we're going to lose these resources. It's the reasons it's evolving, because it's more efficient, it's better producing, and it doesn't tax our resources like the other technologies do. And at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. It's time to upgrade. It's time to get into the modern times. It's time to do things the way the future does it now. And same thing. Talking about same with electric cars and all. It's the way of the world, folks. It's going to happen. It's just a matter, you're going to come kicking and screaming, or you're going to try to ride along with it. And that's it's no different here in the water stuff. It's going to happen. We're going to conserve water, because if we don't, it's gone. That's the bottom line here. So let's get serious about it now, or we can get serious about it later when we don't have a lot of options. That's what we're looking at. Good deal.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. We'll see you next time. Thank you for you do. Thank you. This is a part where this is community members just trying to make a better community here. Come help these folks out.
Yeah, we're all in this together.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, guys. We'll look to get back to whatever fires you got to stomp out right about now, which thank God they're on the water, so they can use less water stomping those fires out. So, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, 7:51. Let's pause for news, Kim Commando, and some sports. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Now for your Pecos Valley news update. I'm Jared Cirillo. An update on the measles situation. The New Mexico Department of Health now reporting an unvaccinated child in Chavez County is diagnosed with measles. The diagnosis makes Chavez the third county affected by the ongoing measles outbreak in the southeastern part of New Mexico. As of Tuesday, the total number of measles cases in New Mexico was 56. All but 3 of the cases, however, are in Lee County. 2 are in Eddy County. Chavez County borders both of those counties. The New Mexico Department of Transportation District 2 office will begin a nearly $2 million pavement preservation project on New Mexico 2 between Dexter and Hagerman. The project on New Mexico 2 from milepost 16 to 23 includes an overlay on the existing asphalt and restriping of the roadway. The overlay is a method in which an application of asphalt is applied over the existing surface. The process prolongs the lifespan of the road without full reconstruction. Again, expect delays on New Mexico 2 between Dexter and Hagerman starting today. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
What's the most annoying thing you can do in a work email? Is it A, use too many exclamation points, B, send those funny cat memes, or C, misspell someone's name? I'm Kim Commando for Total AV, the award-winning antivirus software for just $19 a year right now at protectwithkim.com. In just a moment, I'll tell you the answer. But first, let's talk about how much time emails take. The average person wastes 10 hours and 47 minutes a week writing them. Wow, that's a lot of typing, deleting, and rewriting. Want to save some time? Use ChatGPT to handle the heavy lifting. Paste in your rough draft and say, make this sound more clear and confident, or rewrite this to be friendly but still professional. If you're stuck starting from scratch, just give it the key points and ask for a first draft. So back to the question, what's the most annoying thing you can do in an email? It's C, misspell someone's name. A survey found that's the #1 email pet peeve ever. Hey, join over 600,000 folks who get my free newsletter at getkim.com. Cybercrime is on the rise, and hackers are getting smarter every day. From phishing scams to ransomware attacks, criminals are after your devices and your money. So how do you fight back? One of the best defenses is solid antivirus software. It blocks suspicious websites and stops hackers before they can do any damage. A healthy dose of skepticism when opening emails or clicking links doesn't hurt either. But for the antivirus help you need, I trust and recommend Total AV. They update you in real time, keeping you protected from the latest threats. Go to protectwithkim.com now and get Total AV for just $19 for the first year. It covers up to 5 devices, including Windows, Macs, and smartphones. That's protectwithkim.com. Don't wait until it's too late. Your security matters. Get protected now. Go to protectwithkim.com for my exclusive deal with Total AV. Just $19 for the first year. That's protectwithkim.com. Protectwithkim.com. Protectwithkim.com.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. No big changes for a while. Temperatures will stay warm and the weather pattern looks dry with that big high pressure system settling overhead. Sunshine today, we're headed for the upper 80s. Wind should stay fairly light. Down to the upper 40s and low 50s for the overnight hours and clear. And then we get a sunny Thursday. Looks like mid to upper 80s, low 80s, and sunny on Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Running a business is tough. Operational demands change fast, and keeping up can feel impossible. That's where DSI comes in. We've been helping local businesses thrive for over 25 years. You might know us for printer products, but we're your one-stop shop for cutting-edge office technology, from managed IT to video security, audio-visual technology, and more. DSI has everything you need. We're flexible, local, and have the resources of a national corporation. Be more productive. Make more money. DSI, the heartbeat of business. Visit DSINM.com.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Roswell Coyotes baseball team in action yesterday hosting Artesia. Roswell had won 3 straight, but they fell to the Bulldogs 14-0. This game was actually reasonably close. It was 5-0 after 5 innings, but Artesia exploded for 9 in the top of the 6th. Coyotes just couldn't scratch out a hit. Well, they scratched out one against Artesia pitcher Jack Byers in the shutout. Meanwhile, it was NMMI playing at East Mountain. Tough district game. The Colts hadn't lost one yet, but they fell to East Mountain yesterday by a score of 3-2. East Mountain got 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th to win that one. NMMI will next play Gateway Christian next Monday at 6 o'clock. And it was Dexter beating Bosque 16-5. Dexter's now 5-7. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. U.S. stocks dropped after a second day of stunning reversals. The S&P 500 fell 1.6%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 320 points, while the Nasdaq Composite lost 2.1%. Uncertainty is still high about what President Donald Trump will do with his trade war. China said Tuesday it would fight to the end and take countermeasures against the United States to safeguard its own interests, reacting to Trump's tariffs. A billionaire Republican donor who once backed Donald Trump has blasted the president's tariffs policy. Home Depot founder Ken Langone joined the growing list to call out the president for launching his trade war, claiming the president was poorly advised The U.S. tourism industry appears to be taking a hit from foreign travelers angered by tariffs and alarmed by reports of tourists being arrested at the border. Some citizens of other countries are staying away from the United States and choosing to travel elsewhere. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Did you know almost 75% of the time we're replacing a roof, something totally weird or unexpected or bizarre happens? Jennifer here again from Trustmark Roofing, and I want you to know that we are always prepared for the unexpected. That's why we always have project superintendent on site at your home at all times to handle those weird, bizarre things as they pop up. Things like an unexpected layer of wood shake shingles under your shingles or rotted out decking boards, problems with flashing or ridges or missing supplies that somebody needs to chase down. These are the kinds of problems that normally grind the crews from other roofing companies to a halt and delay the project, but not with our super awesome superintendent there. He's equipped to handle any problem and keep the project moving along smoothly. Just one more way we do things better at Trustmark Roofing. If you have any roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
The ultimate Wi-Fi experience is now available to you thanks to smart home Wi-Fi with Plateau. Get fiber to home technology 100 times faster than average household internet speed. Plateau has multiple plans and options to fit your family. With Fast, get true 100 megs per second download and upload speed. With Faster, get true 500 megs of download and upload speeds. And with Fastest, you get 1 gig. Learn more at plateautel.com. Get the speed you need with Plateau. Tried, true, trusted.
Clyde Lewis and Ground Zero is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM. KEND Roswell.
And we're closing in on 8 o'clock. Town Hall News is up next. We'll be back on the other side of news.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The U.S. and China have been trading insults as their tariff dispute deepens. As of this morning, a 104% U.S. levy on Chinese imports is in effect, and tomorrow China says it will boost tariffs on U.S. imports to 84%. That's a 50% increase. President Trump says China should make a deal with the U.S.
We're doing very well in making, I call them tailored deals, not off the rack. These are tailored, highly tailored deals. Right now, Japan is flying here to make a deal. South Korea is flying here to make a deal, and others are flying here.
Mr. Trump says China should join them. The IRS has agreed to share taxpayer data with Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The goal, to speed the deportation of illegal aliens. The IRS acting commissioner resigning in protest. President says it's time to put King Coal back on the throne, pushing for a revival of America's coal industry.
The value of untapped coal in our country is 100 times greater than the value of all the gold at Fort Knox, and we're going to unleash it and make America rich and powerful again.
Mr. Trump has signed an executive order that, among other things, loosens some environmental rules that have discouraged the use of coal, which President Trump touts as affordable, reliable, and a clean source of energy. Rescuers continue searching the rubble of a nightclub in the Dominican Republic. Yesterday's roof collapse killed at least 113 people, including a provincial governor and 2 former Major League Baseball players. Police in Spotsylvania County, Virginia, say they've arrested all suspects in a shooting. Left 3 people dead, 3 others wounded. Happened at a townhouse community near Fredericksburg, Virginia, last evening. Stocks positive on Wall Street. The Dow is now up 307 points. The Nasdaq ahead, 307 points as well. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Ukraine claims Chinese troops have been fighting alongside the Russian invaders.
President Volodymyr Zelensky says they captured Chinese fighters. He says Ukrainians entered the battle in Donetsk and 2 other regions with 6 Chinese fighters. 2 were captured. Accordingly, there were documents and passports. These are Chinese citizens. Zelensky says the U.S. should pay attention to what's happening. At the State Department, spokeswoman Tammy Bruce says China is a major enabler of Russia in Ukraine.
China provides nearly 80% of the dual-use items Russia needs to sustain the war.
Zelensky says he has information significantly more Chinese men are joining Russia in the fight. Ed Donahue, Washington.
It's the IMF to the rescue for one financially struggling South American country. The International Monetary Fund has reached a preliminary deal with Argentina for a $20 billion bailout. News and analysis, townhall.com. It is probably the last thing that former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson expected during a visit to Texas.
Johnson was pecked by an ostrich at a wildlife park in Texas. In an Instagram video posted by Johnson's wife, the ostrich can be seen walking up to a car, poking its head through the window and pecking the former Prime Minister on the hand. In the caption of the video, Kerry Johnson says, "Too funny not to share." Johnson, who served as Prime Minister from 2019 to 2022, was also seen at a local restaurant in Texas over the weekend. Keith Peters, Washington.
Northern Virginia leaders urging state lawmakers in Richmond to pass emergency legislation to help stabilize their local economy as the federal payroll is cut. Many government employees and contractors are based in the suburbs of the nation's capital. It's estimated federal jobs account for about 6% of the workforce in Northern Virginia. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. Let's have a listen. What does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce
of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Wednesday.
Yes, welcome to it.
Gonna be a
hump day warm stretch.
Got the, I guess you could say a Michael Irvin 88 or a Dale Jarrett for your NASCAR out there. But yeah, they're talking like 88. Not bad.
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
Ocho. How about that?
There you go. Not Ocho Cinco.
No, Ocho.
Chad Johnson, speaking of, he's going back to Chad, by the way.
Yeah.
I guess he's kind of got a thing with the podcasting.
Yeah?
Well, him and Shannon Sharp do a podcast.
I know nothing about Shannon Sharp other than he did a part on American Dad and still has one of my favorite quotable lines.
Yeah.
And it's Shannon Sharp, sharpening machetes, taking a break, and eating some spaghetti. It's one of my favorite lines in TV history.
I guess Sterling wasn't available. His brother, Sterling Sharp, who just got in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, by the way.
Wow.
He was elected in, finally. But, yeah, so they got a podcast that's, it's mostly Shannon, but Chad's an odd dude, man. Like like he doesn't spend money. Like he lives relative, like a lot of times when he talks, like there's
I live
whole
off of
videos.
trade.
Well, there's all kinds of videos of him talking about like all the bling jewelry.
Yeah.
Everything you see him in public is usually like cheapo stuff.
Really?
Yeah, like
costume jewelry and stuff?
Yeah, like he says he doesn't spend that money. Like I guess he's got some, but he never wears it. It's like in a safe or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's got some legit
you
jewelry.
Don't. It's like the collector's mindset. You don't. You don't.
But like
you buy two, one to play with and one to display.
Yeah, during his playing career, he literally lived at the Bengals practice. Like he slept there. He didn't like spend any money on anything. He's pretty frugal dude from what I'm understanding.
Isn't he like? Doesn't he have like some out there like religious beliefs? Like
maybe he's kind of an odd
or something.
It could be. He says things. He says things that sometimes are a little out there. So,
I saw him on the NFL Tonight Show or whatever they have on CW. Where they
he pops up on that stuff all the time. But he changed his name to Ocho Cinco. That's not rational thinking.
He legally changed it to Ocho Cinco. Actually,
well,
I
it's back
didn't realize
to Chad
that.
Johnson.
Yeah, changed it back.
But yeah, he legally he signed his name Ocho Cinco.
I was going to say, most rich people don't spend a lot of money. That's how they stay rich.
Well,
yeah, they live off of like trade and favors.
Yeah, but some of them are like so rich they're still flying around in billion-dollar jets.
Dude,
I'm just saying.
I read a fact that kind of depressed me today. If you had $1 billion and you spent $1,000 every day, it would take you something like 2,736 years to spend it all.
Yeah, it's like the movie Brewster's
billion.
Millions. Go watch that movie if you ever
that's
seen
a
it.
great movie.
It's a great movie, and it's a movie that came out early '80s. It stars oh my gosh, Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor, yeah.
And John Candy, and basically they're minor league baseball players in New York, and like Richard Pryor's like uncle something died, and basically said, okay, you've got 30 days to spend $30 million, have nothing to show for it, and if you can do it, you win $300 million, or you get awarded $300 million. But he can't tell anybody.
Right. And that's
so
in 80s money. That's like $14 billion adjusted for inflation.
Yeah, and so that's the premise of the movie. But it kind of goes to your point.
Yeah.
It's like, it's hard to spend that kind of money and have nothing to show for it at the end without making money. You spend the money, but then you're like, well, you just bought this thing. It's valued at this, or whatever it is. And so that's so he runs for office at one point. So that's where he dumps a lot of the money into the campaign. But yeah, that's a good movie, worth a check out.
You could pay for a day's worth of people's millionaire Sundays, which I think now are like $4,000 at Serendipity 3.
Yeah.
And they come with a crystal chalice thing that you get to keep. But only if they shatter the glass at the end.
That's right.
And go, Mazel Tov! And walk out. Then
you got to go scorched earth
right.
when you're done.
That's right.
That's just what happens.
Torch the whole thing.
Yeah, I put it this way. I still want that problem.
I think what it is we
that
don't
problem,
think
I'll take it.
we don't think that way.
No.
I'm like, you know how many cans of SpaghettiOs I could get with this?
Well, and then just by design, if you're famous and rich, people just give you stuff.
That's true.
You're like, I don't have to buy dinner because I walk in and they just comp me dinner. That's kind of the. Going back to Roy's point about they don't, they make money because they don't spend it because people are just willing to give them stuff.
That does have to be weird though when the shine wears off. Like you walk into a room, you're like, I'm Joey Fatone. I was in sync, and they're like, and
well, and it kind of goes to my other point, and this is where I reverse it on folks. Is if you do get successful and you make a little money, everybody's going to want it. They're going to get to you. They're going to want to talk to you. Everybody's your friend all of a sudden.
After all I did for you, you're just going to forget about me.
Everybody's your friend all of a sudden. And you gotta, and that's at the end of the day why billionaires get free stuff, because they're trying to get in as like, they're trying to make that. Hey, remember that time I did this? Now you do me a solid. That's all it's about. Got to remember that. All right, life lesson done. Time to get on with this.
I was gonna say I never understood that problem. Like I could run out of money real fast.
What's that?
Could you?
If you spend if you
you're
have
talking
a
about
million,
Brewster's Millions thing?
It's hard to spend them like $1 million.
Remember,
I could lose it real quick.
You can't have anything to show for it.
Exactly.
I mean, gambling.
What does that mean, though?
Like, you can't buy something of value and then have it sitting here.
Okay.
So, like, you can't buy a Picasso and say, look, I got a Picasso, because there's still value there.
Yeah.
You basically have to blow it on things you can't show value to. So you can't invest it. You can't buy a business. You can't, because all that makes money.
Yeah.
So he basically did a lot of, and I think there's other rules about charity, and you can't just give it, there were some few rules in there.
It is kind of funny if you think about it, that backing up and looking at the movie without context.
Yeah.
They did give a crack addict a ton of money to burn through with nothing to show for it in the end.
Right.
I'm just saying.
But
okay, fair enough. Easy problem. Okay, got it.
Oh yeah, I want the problem. Don't get me wrong. I will take on that challenge, but yeah, it's harder than you think. It is a little trickier than you think to not have anything to show for it. Because if you invest in, basically you have to invest in a bunch of losers really to do it.
Put it all on Papa's mustache in the third.
Yeah. You got an idea to give flies rock concert instruments for flies? Yeah, let's do it. Let's start that.
$10,000 on Jacksonville to take it all this season.
That's right. Stuff like that. That'll get you a little bit, but so.
You can also just cheat and just bury it. Too.
Well, you don't want to get caught cheating on this one. You got to spend the money, because at the end of the day, you're going to get $300 million. So that whatever you're burying isn't not.
Put it this way, Brewster's Millions had Brewster's babysitters. They were watching him.
That's right. Oh yeah, it's a good movie. Check it out.
It's a
great movie. And if you
not
need
totally sure if it holds up. Haven't seen it in a long time, but
you know what? It holds up better than you think.
Yeah.
I actually saw it like 3 years ago.
Okay.
It was on one of the channels, and I stopped and watched it. It holds up.
The toy, not so much.
No.
I was gonna say, is this related to Punky Brewster? Or?
No. You know what? No, he's not.
Different Brewster.
Different Brewster. But it's got a good smattering of John Candy if you need a good John Candy, because he's like his buddy in that movie.
And who couldn't use a little John Candy?
We can always use a little John Candy.
That's right.
He's an icon and a fine gentleman. So.
Indeed.
One of the best treasures of Canada.
He gave us maple syrup, Alanis Morissette, and John Candy.
And to be honest, go see the movie Canadian Bacon. It's underrated.
Oh, absolutely.
It really tanked, and no one gave it any love. But at the end of the day, that's a pretty funny movie.
It is.
Isn't Rhea Perlman in it, too, if I remember right?
I think so.
Yeah, if I remember. Rhea Perlman. There's a couple other famous people in it. So, anyway, let me give you the rundown for this hour of the show. We're going to get you updated with the weather here in just a sec. And then we're going to be joined in studio here from the Roswell Independent School District, Kenneth Bewley, who is the Director of Research, Assessment, and Accountability. His business card's got to be really long. That's a long title.
It is.
But anyway, we'll talk RSD and school board and all that stuff with Kenneth here in just a few.
I just looked up the cast for Canadian Bacon.
Yeah.
John Candy's lead role, but the next down is Michael Moore.
Michael Moore.
He plays Redneck Guy.
The documentary Michael Moore guy?
That Michael Moore.
Okay.
And yeah, Rhea Perlman's also.
Okay, I don't remember Michael Moore. But, all right.
Yeah, second build.
Yeah, it's a funny movie. All right, it is 8:16. Actually, that kind of goes down a couple of cool points after. He got annoying after a while. It was funny for a minute, then he got annoying. 8:16. Here's your weather.
Weather this hour brought to you by Southwest Bearing under new ownership. Custom solutions for your heavy equipment: hydraulic hoses, hose repair, bearings, seals, sprockets, belts, tools, fluids, and fittings.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. No big changes for a while. Temperatures will stay warm and the weather pattern looks dry with that big high pressure system settling overhead. Sunshine today, we're headed for the upper 80s. Wind should stay fairly light. Down to the upper 40s and low 50s for the overnight hours and clear. And then we get a sunny Thursday. Looks like mid to upper 80s, low 80s, and sunny on Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 55 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 42% with winds currently out of the northeast at 5 miles per hour. Sunny and warm today, as I mentioned earlier. 88 are expected high. North winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear with an overnight low of 49 degrees. East winds at around 5 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny, 85 for a high tomorrow. Winds out of the northwest 5 to 15 miles per hour. Friday, we're looking at sunny skies, 84 for a high. South winds 5 to 10 early, 10 to 15 for Friday afternoon. And then for the weekend, we're hitting the 90s, sunny and 96 on Saturday. Sunday, we're looking at a high of 93 and breezy. And then this just gets me. The overnight low Sunday night is going to be mostly cloudy and breezy with an overnight low of 60. That's a warm night. 60. 60 is too early for overnight lows in April. That's what they're saying Sunday night is. So anyway, make of it. And then it looks like we're going to be hitting in low 80s. Actually dropped down to 70 on Tuesday. Probably some wind in there involved. They don't talk about rain, but I'm going to guess there's some wind. But anyway, enjoy the warm weather while you got it. All right, it is 8:18. We're going to take a 3-minute break, and then on the other side, we're going to talk our Roswell Independent School District. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Mustang lovers, mark your calendars. Thursday, April 17th is National Mustang Day, and Artesia Ford Sales is the place to be. Bring your Mustang, classic or modern, and show it off alongside fellow enthusiasts. Join us for a day of horsepower, history, and fun at Artesia Ford. Snap photos, swap stories, and celebrate the legend of the Mustang with us. Cruise in, show off, and let's make Mustang Day unforgettable. Artesia Ford Sales, where the Mustang spirit lives on.
Some wounds need expert care to heal properly. At Artesia General Hospital's Wound Care and Hyperbaric Medicine Center, we use advanced treatments like hyperbaric oxygen therapy to help chronic wounds heal faster. If you or a loved one has a wound that won't heal, call 575-736-8235 today and take the first step toward recovery.
Have you spent a lot of time trying to whiten your teeth with no real success? Here at Carabelli Dental, we have a solution. Get that perfect smile you've always wanted with veneers. Veneer treatment is quick and minimally invasive and will provide you with a confident smile in just a couple easy steps. You deserve to love your smile, so don't let another day pass you by without calling us to start the smile design process.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental at the corner of 9th and Main in Roswell, or call 575-622-4455.
When the power goes out, Central Valley Electric Cooperative linemen respond. No matter the time of day or night or weather conditions, they always show up to get the lights back on. The next time you flip a switch, take a moment to remember those who make it possible. The linemen who ensure we have reliable electricity. CVE would like to thank all linemen for their courage and commitment to powering our communities. Not just on Lineman Appreciation Day, but every day.
This is the time of year we can get all 4 seasons in just one day. Hi, this is Ben Manette from Roswell Seed Company. 1 minute you're sweating in the sun, and the next minute you've got slush in your shoes. But that's winter in Roswell, and after 127 years, we're starting to get used to it. It's too early to plant very much, but you can fertilize pecan trees, spray for dandelions, order your bees, and pick up a new seed catalog. So come see us at Roswell Seed. Like Jim Gill would say, enjoy the warm days, but don't go far from the fire.
What made Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico? Great selection, great savings, and great people. Roswell Hyundai has an amazing selection of makes, models, and model years to choose from. If you can't find it, Roswell Hyundai can get it. And Roswell Hyundai will take any trade. The experts at Roswell Hyundai will work with you to get you behind the wheel of your next dream ride. So, what makes Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico? You do! Come check out the Used Car Supercenter only at Roswell Hyundai, 1909 West 2nd.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Slugs have 4 noses, but no fingers to pick them. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 8 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning from the Roswell Independent School District, Kenneth Bewley. And then he's got a long title, so I'm going to...
Very long title.
I was going to say, I think your business card's about 2 inches longer than everybody else's.
I have to 2 lines in there.
That's right, the second line. But Kenneth is Director of Research, Assessment, and Accountability for the Roswell Independent School District. So good morning, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Super thrilled to be here.
Good, too. By the way, if you go to the RSD webpage, which I recommend you do, he's got a whole tab. Accountability, so that's his whole tab right there. That's all his whole tab.
Thanks for the plug.
There you go. But before we kind of talk about, just kind of give a little quick kind of, what does your title mean? What do you do here for the district?
I do a lot of the background, the testing, the data.
Gotcha.
The lifeblood of education that we use.
Making sure that we're doing the right curriculum and seeing if the
assessing our progress, how are we doing?
Matched what we anticipate them to be.
Indeed.
Gotcha. So all the testing. So you've got a lightning rod job, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm about to say you got a lot of people that either love you or hate you at the moment.
Well, I'm always there to help. But
well, and it's really this is the crux of education, is what your job is. It's like how do we educate kids, but at the same time, how do we assess it and give it a true assessment, and that's and people, testing, and people always have thoughts on testing, but at the end of the day, we got to have some method to see if what we're doing is working. And so far, testing and stuff's the best option. But
so we like to use the word assessment instead of testing. Like a drug test, you pass.
Sure, that makes sense. Yeah.
But assessment, we're looking to assess how good of a job we did.
Sure.
And how good of a job the kids did.
Sure.
So it's we're all in there together.
Absolutely. So I don't know, everyone has thoughts on that, but at the end of the day, this is what we're evolving. This is what it's constantly evolving, changing as technology, as we learn. Certainly, how we present information to a child is night and day different compared to when you and I were going through as students. And so it's a pretty, so despite the long title, it's a very important job, and very much without it, there's really no point in having a school district. Well, and I was kind of but for folks that don't know, the school board meets monthly here, and it's open to the public meeting that we highly recommend. If you always miss them, you can go to the RSD's page. There's a link to go back and watch. I think they have a YouTube channel.
Yep, we have our own YouTube channel.
Yeah, and so you can go back and watch them. You can watch the most recent one here. But that's kind of what we always bring in Brian in each month, just to kind of give the rundown and the highlights from our last meeting here. And so I'm trying to think, with the way the Mondays lined up, you guys did meet this week, right?
Yes, yes, we did.
Because I know I was like, okay, the first Monday.
It seems like we met just yesterday.
I know, it was
a month
like we
ago.
just talked, but the school board did meet this week here, and so I'm going to take a stab that this one's, because it's, as you're part of the school, the school board, what they're doing is always way ahead of what's going on in the actual classrooms right now. When they're talking about, like, I'm going to take a stab that you guys are working on calendars and things for next year right now.
Yes.
Everything that's going on in school with graduation, that stuff's been plotted and planned. It's just got to be executed.
That's exactly what we talked about with graduation. We're already looking at the end of this year and planning for next year.
Yeah. Well, and I'm curious because it's new each year, but it's not. Like, at the end of the day, graduation's going to happen. We know the dates. It's, we're always going to, same thing happens every year. It gets a little cloudy, and we worry if we're going to have to take it to a gym, or it's going to be able to happen at the Wool Bowl or not. But is there a lot of, because I imagine too, it's also the learning and okay, what didn't work last year? All right, let's stop doing that. And,
well, we try not to wait till the end of the year. We try to,
those probably assessments happen probably probably will be happening here in June or May, or in July when the board meets.
Right. So that's our testing we're doing right now in April, is the ones that we are required to do by the federal government for ESSA. But we're not going to get the results for those till June.
Sure.
A lot of people refer to them as autopsy tests, but we have our other assessments that we do during the year so that we can gauge our progress and say, okay, let's make some adjustments here to make sure we all hit the same goals at the end of the year.
Absolutely. And this is the part, and this is probably where your job is very much involved, is the way, just the ideology of how we educate kids, where when years ago it was all right, here's the path. You go and you take, you're going to get your good grades, and you got to take your ACTs or SATs because the college is going to be looking at you. When you graduate high school, you got to have a college lined up or a plan on where you're going to go. And in this world, college may or may not be at the end game here. They may go into a technical school or military or some other specialized training for a thing. And really at even the elementary level, we're starting to see that shift in the ideology from, and so like where the RASD is, you can literally do high school and college at the same time and do, and all of that is kind of we're probably in your world where we're assessing all right, how do we create for these different assessments for these kids? Like, this kid excels here. How do we put them in a path so they can excel? And that's kind of where you guys are constantly evolving and changing and just learning on the fly on some of this stuff.
So our schools have really evolved, and you are correct. I said we want everyone to go enlistment, enrollment, or employment when they leave us. but not just in employment, a career.
Yeah.
So we have just so many career technical pathways through the districts. I mean, lots of choices.
And the students can really start that career path in middle school in these areas.
Yes.
Like
we're exploring.
Look, the kids wants to be an electrician. All right, well, let's start the path now. They've already got let's build that. But then that's also the fun part too is you catch them early enough where if they really don't like it, there's still time to change course.
Indeed.
And
Right.
we haven't already
correction.
sunk in thousands of dollars in some kind of technical training for it. That's really what it is. It's educating and getting these kids prepared to handle life and give them all the adult skills they need to manage life. But at the same time, give them that specialized training or things that they're kind of in the areas of which they do find they're gravitating toward. Okay, if you got an art thing, all right, let's groom them up in the art stuff and let's go that path here. Or maybe they want to be in the military. All right, well let's kind of set the table for that.
So as long as we can give them something interesting and keep them engaged and something valuable, we're going to keep them in school.
Sure.
Which is where we want you.
Which again, this is when you see like graduation rates and all these numbers. Like we were talking about yesterday. They were talking about an event coming up, but part of the fundraising is to, get these, like for Hispanics, getting these graduation percentage rates up and things like that. And this is how you do it: is you got to, because what's happening, I'm going to take a stab, is that they get to a point in education. And then, life happens, whether it's family stuff or, they want to be an adult before maybe it's time to be an adult. Those things happen.
Well, there's a very strong work ethic. But when I talk to their students, it's like, you want a job or do you want a career?
Right. They're saying they can make money now or they can and they don't look at it as like, look, if you do this now, you can make 3 times this 10 years down the road. They don't see it that way. And it's hard to explain that to someone, especially in the world we live in, where they probably have a buddy or they see someone making 6 figures on a stream online or something, making a quick buck that way. Keep your minds, like at the end of the day, the quick buck will, you make the quick buck, but if you're trying to build a future, a career, a foundation, and you hope to live past 30, you might want to have a bigger,
have a long-term plan.
Exactly, and that's where. Staying in school, getting your diplomas, getting whatever degrees or certifications afterwards. That's why they're so important, because when you have the day where everything goes belly up, you've got something to start over with.
Yes, sir.
And that's what you got to remind young people, is because they don't think they can fail. And it's, think about it. When we were all 16, 17, we all thought we were indestructible too.
Bulletproof.
Yes. And we have to, and then you learned a couple years later. But they don't want to hear that at 16 or 17. And you don't want them to find out at 5 years later either. So that's where that's where the connect is. And that's where you guys, and this is probably where your job at the end of the day is all focused on. It's not about taking, what's the perfect assessment for these kids. It's what can we do to make sure that the assessments are showing exactly
in line with what we're supposed to be teaching.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's really what it's about. So I'm just gee whiz curious. Is that just down into the soup and nuts of what we do on these different assessments? Or
yeah, I'm always in the background.
Yeah,
but the teachers have a curriculum that the state has set for us to teach.
Sure.
So we got to make sure that we're assessing the right thing.
Right.
That what you're supposed to be teaching, you're teaching, and that we're being successful at it, and that we're assessing that in the right way. So it's all the jigsaw pieces that go together.
I'm gee whiz curious when we talk about, because this always seems to be a big thing, especially now with federally what's going on with the Board of Education and all that. People are asking questions about how this stuff matriculates and down. When it comes to the state, I mean, obviously they dictate what your standards are for curriculum and things like that, but is it very stringent, or do they give you basically some playroom? It's like, okay, I hit the number, I'll hit the number, but can I do it this way, or do I have to do it exactly how you say I do it?
So when we get down into the how the sausage is made,
sure.
So we've got our standards, but then it's like, okay, I want you to learn New Mexico history, but at what level, and what do you need to be able to do, and how can you demonstrate your understanding?
Sure.
So that gets to where it's quite a bit more academically challenging.
Gotcha.
It's no longer just ABC.
Gotcha.
Not memorization.
Gotcha.
Okay, you've got to do some critical thinking.
Sure.
And so
the logic and reasoning side of educating a human being. Yeah. And I was just curious about that. I didn't know if they say, okay, hit these numbers, how you get there, or they say, no, you got to do it this way, and then you got to do it this way. And I'm guessing it's a little bit of both where because obviously I'm going to take a stab that there's things that you guys do in the RESD that may not work in another part of the state. And vice versa, where they're doing some up there, it just won't translate.
Well, we need to get to the same place at the same time, but the route that you take, you could drive the way you want to.
Gotcha. Very cool. I was very curious about that because you know how it is. You work in the industry. You know, everybody questions everything, and there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes information gets
distorted.
Yes, that's proper. I do want to talk about the meeting. Is there any highlights that we definitely want to focus on?
Well, we were
from the meeting?
super thrilled to have our building, the Pueblo Auditorium. They've finished the construction there, so we had Rhodes Plumbing, J&G Electric, Holloway Construction. I think they all advertised here, so I can say their names.
Yeah, they all pretty much put.
And so we were thrilled to have local contractors working on here, keeping the money local, which is really good, and building up skills within our community.
Absolutely.
So hopefully we're looking forward to growth.
I was about to say, you probably had a bunch of RASD alum doing the work on the...
Yes, indeed. That's what we want.
But it's really cool, and obviously it's a long time. It's taken quite a bit of time, but that's such a historic location. And it's the rub is, how do we modernize it to make it comfortable and to keep holding our meetings and events and things at it, but we don't want to lose
our historical value.
Yeah, the nostalgia, that historical presence to that. So that's been the delicate dance that you guys have been dealing with for the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's great. Well, your parents can come in and say, I was here too when we did our graduation.
Exactly.
Perfect.
It's kind of like when they redid the Pearson on the campus here 10 years ago, whenever that was, and everyone loved it. But the one thing that I've always heard from, this is mostly from cadets and not so much the public, but the NMMI staff and alum and all that, was that the old chairs in the old Pearson had a very unique sound when they opened and closed, and you really only got to experience it at NIMI events because they have them stand in unison and sit, attention. They all go up, and so when they all went up at one time and sit down, they make that same noise. And when they remodeled, that noise went away, and there was a lot of like, "Oh, I miss the noise."
They just don't make them like that anymore.
They couldn't replace the chairs, but I'm gonna take a stab. There's gonna be one or two of those Pueblo things that were just idiosyncrasies of that place you just know and love, and then modern technology just kind of made it go away. But it still has the same look and vibe, that classic vibe that you come to know when you walk into the Pueblo there. So is it done?
It's done.
Nice.
We were talking also about how Mesa is done. We're planning in the planning stages for Mountain View. Nancy Lopez over there on the east side of town is going up, and every day it's
again. These are
up.
great. Long, a lot of meetings, a lot of paperwork, a lot of shifting of trading of things and all kinds of stuff. But we're finally seeing actual bricks being laid and plumbing being installed and walls going up and stuff. So
it's going to be a beautiful educational complex with Mesa and Nancy over there on that side.
What's the anticipated open date on that?
Is spring of 2026.
Okay, so about a year out.
Right. So our contractors kind of, we've got some really good contractors. They kind of tend to finish early, but not that much early.
I will tell you right now, it's construction, and with the flooding and I'm telling you right now, getting a contractor right now is easier said than done. I just know from other circles I've been dealing with. So whatever date, and this is construction. So we say plan spring, add another month or two on, because that's just how construction works. By about May or June, we'll be ready. I'm going to reality. Something. It's just that's the nature of construction. But anyway, but that'll be exciting. That'll be really exciting to see. And I know folks in that neighborhood, in that section, are really probably excited to finally have it in place.
It's thrilling to be the first class to graduate out of Nancy Lopez, the new building. So I'm sure I was.
And this is kind of the last of the old era, if that makes sense for for people. It's
we still got Washington Avenue too.
Sure, yeah.
Right?
There's one or two,
right?
But we're almost at this part where all of the antiquated schools really are now starting to get their rehabs or rebuilds, or, it's been a slow going over 20 plus years of getting these schools. It really was. And I don't know if it was just because we're a senior community and then we got younger or whatever, but 30, 40 years ago, they didn't invest as much back into the buildings and things. And so there was a period where some of these buildings were very outdated with swamp coolers and things that were, I know my wife's school, she's been at Berendo Elementary 25, 27, how many years now, whatever it is. And she was there back in the old days and it's night and day a different school now there. But this is what I'm talking about, that evolution. Every one of those schools have been going through that change, some bigger than others, some rebuilds, but we're kind of at the end here with Nancy Lopez and those, just in time to start back over.
I do like the classic buildings. I work on the classic side of the building here.
And that's what I love about the main admin building here, is because if you've never been in there, it's the old high school. And it still looks like an old high school.
Yeah. It's got that vibe.
I am shocked that film companies and stuff have not reached out to you to film some movies in that place, because I could totally see them doing some kind of 80s high school or 70s high school or movie that takes place in some setting, and that would be a perfect
it's got
facility
an
to do that.
extensive basement that would be great for some kind of slasher film.
I'm just shocked that no one's reached
Maybe
out.
we can do a student film. We got the talent right here.
But I'm surprised Warner Brothers or someone had been knocking on the door, hey, what would it take for us to tie up this building for a month? But it's great to see that we're going, and the funny part is now that once we finish this, it'll be time to start right back over again at the beginning.
It's a cyclical process.
It is. It's kind of like if you hear the county or city road crews and stuff. They almost, from everything I've been gathering, they almost have a map, and it's like a clock where they'll start at one here and just keep working. By the time they get back around to the beginning, it's time to start over and work on the other stuff again. Building maintenance is not very dissimilar to that.
Yes.
Good deal. So I'm sorry, we got interrupted on some of that stuff, but so we got some of that stuff talked about last night and laid out and all there. What else do we want to highlight from the meeting last night?
We brought in our school resource officers, which is great. Their presence is really appreciated in the schools, making connections.
They are really
hopefully doing some recruiting while they're there also.
Absolutely. Yeah, their job is there to make sure everyone's safe and secure.
Yes.
But yes, they're little guidance counselors, friends. And I've talked to several of them on the radio. They all have little relationships with certain groups of the students and things. And so, little recruiting, but
they've really got a service personality.
Absolutely. Yeah,
all of them.
Sometimes they are the sounding board where maybe students don't feel comfortable talking to teachers or guidance counselors or somebody else. I'm going to talk to Joe the cop. Right? That's kind of what they're doing. And it's been a real asset. So it's great to see that. I'm assuming, with the success that, with funding and everything, we can see more of these resource officers showing up in more schools.
We do like to see them there.
Yeah.
They're great. Yeah. And we also had our Charlie's Angels. I don't know how many years they've been state champions.
Yeah, they at this point they're just state champs. They get a state champ emeritus.
That's just going to be added to their name now.
But so they're coming back with another belt.
Fantastic group. Oh man, did they have hardware, rings and medals, and they were just you could hear them as they were coming in the building.
Sure, they are really they're almost the ambassadors for the RSD now, and really, when it comes to on a national level,
right?
They really are. They're always in the championship every year. They're always winning. They are really a good ambassadors for the city of Roswell, not just the RSD.
And good scholars too. Yeah, they're there every day.
Oh yeah, they're all great
hitting
kids
the grindstone.
And great, great academically and well-rounded individuals. So it's all good stuff there. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So they got honored again.
Yes, we brought them in. I didn't realize that they had some 8th graders in there.
Oh, they got some.
So the
next generation, the young blood.
Yeah, so some of these gals will probably come out with five championships when they walk across the stage.
No pressure. Yeah, that's the thing now.
It's hard to have that legacy to live up to.
They are so good at it that it's almost expected to this point. And so they've got big shoes to fill.
Right,
you know what I mean? But they built those shoes themselves with their great work and effort.
They did. They did. We also had our recognition for, we have some community schools here. Sierra Middle School, Mesa Middle School, University High School.
Okay.
And we honor the kids that are participating in the food distribution.
Yeah.
So, there's food insecurity is a thing.
Absolutely.
With some people. And
I'm telling you, I've because I see kind of the folks on some of the organizations that are partnering with and helping them do that, and you don't realize those kids and what they're doing. It's, put it this way, we need about 37,000 more of that.
Yes.
But I'm telling you right now, the work that these kids are doing, some people would eat on a night if it wasn't for what these kids are doing to these programs.
Well, I think they're establishing a lifetime of service.
Yeah.
And, they're starting right now in high school.
But they're making a direct impact in our community right now with what they're doing here. And it is making a big enough impact where if they stop doing it, it's going to hurt our nonprofit.
Yes, we will notice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's that good. So hopefully more and more of that as we see how these programs.
So we're thrilled for them. We didn't want them to go unnoticed, I said, because they do the grunt work.
Absolutely.
And they're out there.
Well, and these are those. This shows the character and mettle of these kids and what's great about them. And we always talk about A's and B's and all that stuff, and that's always very important. But without the love and the support and the logic and the understanding and the humanity behind the A's and B's, it doesn't ring as true.
Yes.
You can be the smartest person on the planet, but if you don't apply it or put some love and humanity behind it, what point is it? And that's really what these kids are doing.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's great. I love that. I'm glad they got to be honored here.
We were talking about the CTE and the career and technical. We had the Skills USA, and we also had kids that were competing in welding competition. I think they came away with first place. They were competing against kids from Mexico, New Mexico, and Texas. And so, speaking of careers, these guys are set. We're going to be seeing them underwater.
Not a lot of broke welders,
things.
just saying. They usually have a job.
There's
anytime
not
they
a lot
want
of
one.
unemployed welders sitting around.
And if it is, it's by choice.
So these guys were great. We had 2 champs for cybersecurity for drones.
Okay.
And cybersecurity.
Nice.
Now, you talk about job security. You're going to be working with cybersecurity.
Well,
you're going to be quite busy.
Oh, yeah. That job is kind of, and let's face it, with drone technology, as we more in advance, the drones are going to replace a lot of daily
They're going to be
tasks
delivering your Amazon packages to your door.
But even safety and stuff like, all those, the wind turbines and all that stuff, when they do inspections and work on those things, drone technology.
Well, they just had in the news where they found a 2-year-old kid that was missing using a drone with heat technology. And
I saw the same thing, but with dogs.
Found him in 15 minutes.
There was some flooding or whatever, and it was they literally, there was a guy going out and found like half the neighborhood's lost dogs because they were all in the woods, and then he just went in the drone. Oh, there's the heat signature. There's the dog, and they went and got him, and saved at least half dozen dogs doing that.
Yeah, that is great. And they're members of the family. You can't
Absolutely.
leave them out there.
Yeah, you can't. But yeah, drone technology is definitely a niche that's going to be growing, broaden, and as we learn more capabilities and what we can do with them, they're going to be a part of your daily life.
I'm pretty sure Army recruiters are going to be wanting to talk to these folks too.
Oh yeah, they've already been
graduation.
probably using military applications for years, but you're going to start seeing it in your day-to-day life now too.
Yes.
Yeah, at some point the Amazon drone will show up dropping the package off at your house. That's a given. That's going to happen.
So we did want to, show what these kids are doing, let the public know all the different things that are going on in school.
Yeah.
So book learning is good, but we also have to, get ready for the future.
Exactly. It's showing these kids why they're learning the thing they're learning, because this is what the possibilities it gives you. And that's why why you've seen this big STEM push in the last 20 years. It's like, yes, all these math equations and scientific equations are boring, but you know what? When you know them, this is what you can make. Right. This is what you can produce, and that's where STEM comes in. All this is like, look, I get it. I swim when I see all them numbers too, but when you understand what they do and the concepts and how this works, you can make anything. And that's what they're showing them, and they're bringing it down to that level. It's like, look, these are why you know the formula. See this thing right here, this phone. This without math and science, this doesn't exist.
Right.
And that's where, and when you're showing them at that level and showing how it works, and you peel open the layers and say, see where it's working right here. That's where the magic happens. And next thing you know, that's the kid that's the next Bill Gates, Elon Musk, whatever out there. That's the next person. So
he's out there somewhere.
Exactly.
Or she.
Yeah, exactly. That person is there, or that entity of people, or whatever it is. And whatever is the next thing that's going to get us to, we look at like AI and the world we're in now. Whoever's going to push that to the next level, they're sitting in classrooms right here in Roswell and across the country. So that's what we're preparing.
You're right. It is an exciting space to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I got, it's the thing, parents, everybody, we have to make a community effort to make sure your kid is in a classroom every single day. I get life happens sometimes and there's a funeral and these things, but as families, planning vacations during school time is not the smartest idea. I get it. Life happens sometimes and things happen, but I know there's families that consistently do things like this, and you can't be pulling your kid out every time you're going out of town if you're doing it several times a year. And your kid is missing out on some of the stuff.
Yeah, it's difficult to be out and come back again.
Technology is great in many aspects where we can fill the void in a lot of remote learnings and things, but particularly in those fundamental years where they're learning the reading, writing, those fundamental skills in person, visual, it's very important.
Nothing takes the place of that face-to-face.
I'm telling you, as a wife of a second grade teacher, where she's a little bit more, they've kind of got the basics at that point, but they're enhancing. But this is the problem with the COVID, when the masks and all that. That was a legit problem where it's like, no, I need to see them form the mouth, to form the words and do those things. That's vital. And so that's why it's important for these kids in the classroom, and this is, to be honest, on some levels, we're still playing catch up from COVID. There's still that group of kids that were right in that fundamental years of that. We're still having we're starting to smooth out that curve. Yeah, we're dealing with some wrinkles and stuff, and this points to the bigger picture of what we're talking about. Kids weren't in school for that time, and we're still dealing with the impacts.
Yes.
That's why it's so important that when school's in session, your kid is there in school.
Yes, we need you there every day.
Absolutely.
We're there with open arms waiting for your kids.
And I also am going to remind you, as a husband of a teacher, your teacher is in your corner for your kids. They will fight for your kids. Partner with them. Work with them. It's not an adversarial thing. They want the best for your kid just like you want the best.
We're all on the same team.
Let's work together on that. And to be honest, some of these kids spend probably as much time, if not more, than with your kids as you do.
If not more.
And they know them very well, too. Kenneth, appreciate you doing it. You tell your boss you did great, and I don't know if he's listening or not, but tell him he did great, and hopefully we didn't beat you up too bad. Like you don't beat him up.
No, it was great. Really a good experience.
Well, thank you for joining it, and anytime, love to have you, and thank you for the. And I love to hear your side, because we have the super in all the time, and he's got great stuff, but your day job is all this assessment stuff. You're seeing it day in and day out, and it's great to kind of see your perspective and show your, from your perspective on how this stuff is done. Because obviously you have one of the more lightning rod jobs in the district. That's, when it comes to assessments and testing, parents get their cackles up on these things. And so it's great to, hear your perspective and show that understanding. It's like, look, we've got to have an assessment. We've got to see how everybody's doing, from your child to our staff. And this is the best way we got until we find something better.
There we go.
So, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right. It is 8:54. Let's pause for news. Chaves County Sports. I think I can even work in a Red Apple market update. Don't go away.
Now for your Pecos Valley news update. I'm Jared Cirillo. An update on the measles situation. The New Mexico Department of Health now reporting an unvaccinated child in Chavez County is diagnosed with measles. The diagnosis makes Chavez the third county affected by the ongoing measles outbreak in the southeastern part of New Mexico. As of Tuesday, the total number of measles cases in New Mexico was 56. All but 3 of the cases, however, are in Lee County. 2 are in Eddy County. Chavez County borders both of those counties. The New Mexico Department of Transportation District 2 office will begin a nearly $2 million pavement preservation project on New Mexico 2 between Dexter and Hagerman. The project on New Mexico 2 from milepost 16 to 23 includes an overlay on the existing asphalt and restriping of the roadway. The overlay is a method in which an application of asphalt is applied over the existing surface. The process prolongs the lifespan of the road without full reconstruction. Again, expect delays on New Mexico 2 between Dexter and Hagerman starting today. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Roswell Coyotes baseball team in action yesterday hosting Artesia. Roswell had won 3 straight, but they fell to the Bulldogs 14-0. This game was actually reasonably close. It was 5-0 after 5 innings, but Artesia exploded for 9 in the top of the 6th. The Coyotes just couldn't scratch out a hit. Well, they scratched out one against Artesia pitcher Jack Byers in the shutout. Meanwhile, it was NMMI playing at East Mountain. Tough district game. The Colts hadn't lost one yet, but they fell to East Mountain yesterday by a score of 3-2. East Mountain got 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th to win that one. NMMI will next play Gateway Christian next Monday at 6 o'clock. And it was Dexter beating Bosque 16-5. Dexter's now 5-7. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. No big changes for a while. Temperatures will stay warm and the weather pattern looks dry with that big high pressure system settling overhead. Sunshine today, we're headed for the upper 80s. Wind should stay fairly light. Down to the upper 40s and low 50s for the overnight hours and clear. And then we get a sunny Thursday. Looks like mid to upper 80s, low 80s, and sunny on Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
All across America, this is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report.
I'm James Flippin. U.S. stocks finished lower yesterday after what was another up and down session on Wall Street. There was a short-lived relief rally that unfolded. Stocks did move into positive territory at times, but overarching worries connected to tariffs continue to have stocks under pressure here as a cumulative tariff of 104% has been slapped on imports coming from China. In connection to that, at least in part, iPhone maker Apple saw its share price fall, given it works in close contact with phone manufacturers in China. Earlier in the session yesterday, sentiment had received a boost when President Trump shared on Truth Social he'd had what he considered a great call with the president of South Korea concerning tariff negotiations. And zooming out a bit, it was the 4th straight session of significant market volatility since Trump started the more aggressive rollout of tariffs on April 2nd. Economic data, the NFIB Small Business Optimism Index came in lower than expected for March. Survey respondents pointing to ongoing concern regarding tariffs and potential trade disruption. Today, look for the minutes from the Fed's most recent meeting. With business, I'm James Flippin.
This is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report. Donate now to toysfortots.org. Working year-round, delivering hope to children at Christmas time and beyond. In 2024, Toys for Tots provided over 30 million toys to nearly 13 million children in need. Donate now. Go to toysfortots.org. Since 1947, Toys for Tots has distributed 708 million toys to 314 million deserving children. Working year-round. Toys for Tots. Donate now. Go to toysfortots.org.
Bill Cunningham is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
And we're closing in on 9 o'clock. Town Hall News is up next. Stay tuned next hour here around 9:15 or so. We're going to talk with some folks about the Stop the Violence ride they're going to be having here on April 12th.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. China is lashing out at the U.S. over President Trump's tariffs, and Beijing plans to boost retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. by 50% starting tomorrow.
The president defends his newly launched trade war, claiming the tariffs are bringing $2 billion into the U.S. every day, and dozens of nations want to negotiate.
Right now, Japan is flying here to make a deal. South Korea is flying here to make a deal, and others are flying here.
Even though some economists have warned of higher prices, the president slapped another 50% tariff on Chinese goods, raising the combined total to 104% against China. Greg Clugston, the White House.
Does the tariff issue threaten Republican unity on Capitol Hill?
In a Senate hearing and interviews with reporters this week,
Republican skepticism of President Donald Trump's agenda reached a level unseen since he won the GOP presidential nomination last year. While GOP lawmakers direct their concern at Trump's aides and advisors, it still amounted to a rare Republican break from the president. Lawmakers are worried about warnings that the plans could lead to a recession.
That's correspondent Bernie Bennett. The European Union authorizing new tariffs on $23 billion worth of American goods. Floodwaters should soon start to recede across parts of the South and the Midwest following days of torrential rains. Parts of Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio were swamped.
The Ohio River at Louisville is going to be cresting this afternoon. The stage is expected to be right at 37 feet on the upper gauge and at 68.4 feet on the lower gauge. And just for historical perspective, that's the highest crest we've seen on the Ohio since 1997.
Ron Steve at the National Weather Service. And watching Wall Street, the Dow is down 282 points, while the NASDAQ trading 19 points higher, the S&P 29 points in the red. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
One East African country pulls an about-face.
Officials in South Sudan say they will allow a foreign national entry into the country after their initial refusal to do so prompted the United States to revoke the visas of all of its citizens. A Foreign Affairs Ministry spokesperson said Tuesday that Congolese national Makula Kintu will be allowed in the spirit of maintaining friendly relations between South Sudan and the United States. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced on Saturday that the U.S. would revoke all visas for South Sudanese citizens. He said that was because the country had failed to accept the return of its citizens deported from the United States in a timely manner. I'm Lisa Adams-Wagner.
Conservative and center-left parties are about to present a deal to form a new German government after weeks of talks. The agreement paves the way for new leadership in Germany, with Friedrich Merz expected to become Germany's next leader. News and analysis at townhall.com. Theater owners implementing new rules with the arrival of a new movie.
Movie theaters around the world are warning young moviegoers against being disruptive during screenings of a Minecraft movie. Viral video on social media shows teenagers shouting, throwing drinks and popcorn, squirting hand cream, and destroying theater seats. A New Jersey theater owner banned unaccompanied teenagers after memes on TikTok incited destructive behavior based on lines in the movie. He said some of the parents actually defended the teenagers. In England, movie theaters have warned viewers they could be ejected if they cause a disruption. Minecraft far exceeded expectations by taking in more than $313 million at the global box office in its first 4 days. The movie stars Jason Momoa and Jack Black. Tasha Stevens reporting.
The White House says more than $1 billion for Cornell University and around $790 million for Northwestern. It's been frozen. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3 of Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Buenos Wednesday.
Aye. Welcome to it.
Miércoles.
Yes.
I remember from my Espanol class back in high school.
Lunes, martes, miércoles.
Yeah.
Yes.
Days of the week.
It's funny that
I can count to 10.
Even Wednesday is even hard to spell in Spanish. Like of all the day words,
yeah.
Wednesday is the hardest to spell in English, and miércoles is pretty much the hardest to spell amongst the words in Spanish.
Every once in a while, I think jueves is Friday. I know it's not. It's viernes. But in my head, sometimes I'm like, ah. But in real life, sometimes I think Thursday's Friday.
Yeah. So. TGI viernes, am I right?
So it jives. But happy Wednesday.
Yes.
Or Miércoles, whatever you call it. Happy it. And welcome to it. It's
happy it.
Happy it. Welcome to it. And it's going to be a warm it. It'll be about 88 today. So enjoy it while you got it. Because it'll be different later.
Yeah, it's gonna.
Sorry, I'm hearing me, hear you, hear me, and it's.
I was waiting for the next it, but yeah, it's gonna be enjoyable today and a little bit tomorrow, and then, well, it is Roswell. Cards subject to change.
Well, yeah, like this weekend we're gonna be in the 90s, so it's like shorts weather, and you're gonna be wanting to get into a pool, but there will be no pool to be had unless it's indoors.
No pool.
No splash pad to be had.
Mm-hmm.
We're still
a
month away
we
from all that.
We are still about a month away from splash pad.
Usually around
season.
Memorial Day is when they start opening that stuff up. So we're still about a month and change away from that one.
Yep.
But it'll be here, and it'll be good and hot by then.
Oh, yeah.
So get your pre-90s this weekend. Then your regular 90s here in about a month.
Yes. And
the only thing that'll be perfect is if we get 90s, and then by like midweek next week, back down to 20s and freezing. That would be chef's kiss New Mexico right there. That's what it's gonna. I did see it's gonna be dropping to like 70 on Tuesday.
Right.
So that might be it. All right.
It's all over the place weather-wise. You take whatever you're gonna get that day.
Yeah. Okay, I got a recommended watch for folks.
Okay.
And I think I mentioned it before, but I've been kind of deeper watching more of it. And on Hulu, there's a History Channel show called it's Dan Aykroyd's Weird History or something like that.
Right.
And each one's a different weird one. And they had the whole thing about New Mexico I talked about with the earlier.
Does he do it in his normal delivery, like always?
A little bit. Well, he's not.
Matter of fact.
He's just the host, so he only talks like in and out at the beginning of the segment.
Well, half the reason you watch Fact or Fiction is for Jonathan Frakes, so the host is an important, integral part.
Well, and this one has the ensemble, like Adam Richman and the guy that hosted that Mysteries of the Museum. That guy, I don't remember his name. He's one of the guys that contribute. And then there's a couple others, but the two ones that you most recognize are Adam Richman, the former food. Banner's Food Guide. And then, the other guy, which I can't remember his name, but he did Mysteries at the Museum. That was one of his shows he hosted. He kind of has that.
The Unbelievable with Dan Aykroyd.
That one.
Yeah.
And I've watched most of them. Each one's interesting. They're if you're looking for like everything is dealt with like weird inventions to weird just mysterious things that happen that we have no explanation for.
The
events
unexplainable.
And things. There's one episode that's almost like the Guinness Book of World Record stuff, like the tallest dude, the shortest dude, this dude, and that.
Okay.
Like there's the one bit's on Wadlow, with Robert Wadlow, who was the tallest guy at one point. He was like 7 foot something or another, and what I loved about that was because you saw which I never really saw before. I've seen him. He was the tallest guy, and they see old timey pictures of him. But this one they were showing like when he was a kid and how he was like at the age of like 6, he was like 6 feet tall, while the other kids are like normal size, and like in high school, the basketball team, all that. Like, there's this kid who's a freshman and he's like 7 feet tall.
Just runs up to the basket.
It's like, man, and just the the things he went through. But anyway, it's worth a check out. I highly recommend. It's pretty fun. If you want a good watch that's nothing too weighty, just kind of. That's interesting.
There's certain things or pictures from history that can be used for great context. There's one particularly of Andre the Giant. He's sitting in a bar and he's holding a bottle of wine, and he's able to connect his thumb and middle finger.
Looks like he's holding like a.
It looks like a soda.
Yeah, like we're holding, like you and I are holding, and like I've seen him hold like a can of Coke. And it literally looks like a baby toy in his hand. It looked.
That's
like have you have the little 7-ounce can Coke? Put that in your hand, and it still looks smaller.
Yeah.
Like if you put that, not my hand because it looks big. But anybody else's hand, it looks. And yeah, but the Dan Aykroyd show's definitely pretty cool.
I definitely wanted to check that one out.
It's on Hulu.
I came to a conclusion last night. So I've been watching, and I've talked about it before, but I've been watching The Americas. I'm just kind of working.
Oh yeah,
my
the
way
Tom
through
Hanks deal.
The nature documentary.
Sunday nights they do it on.
It's for if you're into nature documentaries, it is one of the best I've ever seen. It's up there with Planet Earth, Blue Planet.
I figured they put a lot of money into this one.
And I'm really excited because on Easter, on 420, they're actually going to be dropping a how they made the Americas, like the technology that went into getting some of these.
Well, that makes sense.
Never before seen shots. It is phenomenal
because they've been showing them on Sunday nights on NBC, I think, and so I'm going to take it. Stab Easter will be the grand finale, or maybe I'm going to say probably the finale one's. Is it this weekend?
I think it's this coming weekend.
And then the making of would be the next week.
Yeah, I think I'm almost caught up to the new one. But I came to a conclusion or a little bit of an epiphany last night. So we've had this conversation before about how you're not super into nature documentaries.
Not my one
your
seed.
Not your cup of tea. But you're more into like historical doc. But I think I may know, maybe not the reason why, but definitely a reason why you're not particularly into nature documentaries.
Okay.
And it comes down to personification.
All right.
Because I love when a documentary or when a narrator storylines what's happening. Like a lot of it is to do with, the mating rituals and things like that. And the way they,
the tiger is in its mating hole.
Yeah. That, but the way that he's like, well, he's definitely not impressing the female with his moves on the dance floor. But they give these, like, each time they're like showing a different kind of animal or a different scenario, they give you these stories. And you're like, they literally give you a hero and a villain.
Right.
A character to root for and a character to not. And I think that at its core is what turns you off about nature documentaries. Because it's not accurate.
Yeah.
Necessarily, whereas historical documentaries, you're dealing with facts.
To solidify your theory, that what are they, muskrats? The one where they got kind of popular, that show where they basically, it's Nature Channel, but they almost turned it in like they follow this family of muskrats and they insert their own dialogue into the story. I can't remember what the show was called.
I think it was like Muskrat Love or
something like that. And I remember seeing that, and yes, I was annoyed by it. Like I watched it for a minute, I was like, "This is funny," but then I was like, "This is just dumb."
Because I was watching. They were talking about winters up in the Canada, Great White North, that whole area, and they were specifically talking about the snowshoe hare or the snowshoe bunny and the lynx, and they had this lynx come up on the snowshoe hare. Talk about how. The reason they call it the snowshoe hare, it's got these gigantic, like, huge paws that work as snowshoes.
Right.
And
tennis rackets.
It was the story of how the hare had to evade this lynx and how the lynx rarely, if ever, gives up. And because all these stories, I think that they have a real hard time telling stories where the not happy ending, the hare got away. Right. But it was at that moment I'm like, I think this is why Mike doesn't like these. I mean, that's sort of the reason I love.
I like it for a minute. I just don't want 3 hours of it.
Sure.
Or an hour's give me 15 minutes max, and then I'm ready to move on.
But I will say, like, right when I'm out, right when I'm like ready to go watch, they'll give me some shot.
Just
like
when
one
I'm
of these,
about to, they pull me back.
One of these, like, I can't fathom how they were able to get a camera or even a drone or anything into this place at this time to get that. It's absolutely insane. There's footage of an avalanche, for example, in this last one I watched that was just, how did you do that?
I got 3 words. Jim Carrey Rhino.
God, these rhinos. That is, I didn't actually think, because now you got me in the mindset of the Great White North. There's a lynx and a snowshoe bunny, and there's just a rubber rhino just sitting right in front of him. With a nude Jim Carrey running cranks.
That's going to be your Easter show right there.
Oh, that's
a new Jim Carrey and a rhino.
And it's always the rhino. It's always got to be the rhino. No, these shots are from the bottom of the Marianas Trench. It's still a rhino.
It's rhino.
We're just going to put a snorkel on the rhino.
It's in Hawaii. Throw a rhino in there.
Put a
Desert,
layer
rhino.
on the neck. It's fine.
Antarctica, rhino.
Rhino. What about this herd of rhinos? Weirdly, a giraffe camera.
That's right. Yeah.
We want the crane shot.
We're gonna film the New York City subways. Get the rhino.
Hey, Phil, that rhino always been there.
Right.
But you would have bet there's a guy in there.
No, they just. You know what? Just put a plate with a couple pennies in it, and people drop money as they walk by.
I'm not going to be able to not think about that as I finish the rest of this documentary.
Every scene, there's like
You've ruined it for me, man.
That's the way you watch a nature documentary.
Dang it.
All right, let me give you the rundown for this hour of the show. Sorry, that was for my own amusement.
Yeah, for those who've never seen When Nature Calls, go back and watch it. It is maybe one of the best.
I would argue top 3 scenes in all of cinema. Is that scene right there?
Just go type in rhino scene When Nature Calls on YouTube. You can find that, just that.
The Deliverance scene ain't got nothing on it.
There is a couch scene in Always Sunny in Philadelphia that comes
pretty close. All right, let me give you the rundown here. We'll get you update with the weather and all that here in just a bit. They're here in just a few minutes. We'll be joined by Val Laura and Fred Luna talking about the Stop the Violence event that they've got planned for April 12th here, and give us some more information. Invite everyone to come out and participate.
Yes, sir.
So we'll talk about that here in just a few. Later on in the hour, we'll get you up to date of the news of the local variety, Wall Street business updates, and whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show. But first, your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. No big changes for a while. Temperatures will stay warm and the weather pattern looks dry with that big high pressure system settling overhead. Sunshine today, we're headed for the upper 80s. Wind should stay fairly light. Down to the upper 40s and low 50s for the overnight hours and clear. And then we get a sunny Thursday. Looks like mid to upper 80s, low 80s, and sunny on Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 63 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 31%. Winds currently out of the northeast at 12 miles per hour. Warm today, 88 and sunny with winds out of the north 5 to 10 miles per hour. Skies will be clear tonight with an overnight low of 49 degrees. East winds at around 5 miles per hour. Sunny for you Thursday, mid-80s, 85 for a high tomorrow. Northwest winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday night, clear with an overnight low of 52. East winds 5 to 10. Friday, sunny skies, 84 for a high. South winds 5 to 10 early, 10 to 15 for the afternoon. And then we hit the 90s for the weekend, sunny and 96. We're pushing 100 on Saturday. And then 93 and breezy under sunny skies on Sunday. 81 when you head back to work and school Monday. And then we drop to 70 on Tuesday. So methinks there'll be some wind somewhere in there to bring that drop. All right, 9:20, we're going to take a 3-minute break, and then we'll talk about the Stop the Violence event happening here April 12th. Don't go away.
The Rocky Mountain Elks Foundation salutes hunters in the role they play in providing critical funding for conservation. Celebrate how hunting is conservation at the Rocky Mountain Elks Foundation Annual Banquet, Saturday, April 12th at the Eastern New Mexico State Fairgrounds. The Roswell Banquet will take place on April 12th at 5 p.m. Get your tickets now at rmef.org and go to the New Mexico Events tab. Celebrate hunters at the Rocky Mountain Elks Foundation Roswell Banquet, Saturday, April 12th at the Eastern New Mexico State Fairgrounds.
This is the time of year we can get all 4 seasons in just one day. Hi, this is Ben Manette from Roswell Seed Company. 1 minute you're sweating in the sun, and the next minute you've got slush in your shoes. But that's winter in Roswell, and after 127 years, we're starting to get used to it. It's too early to plant very much, but you can fertilize pecan trees, spray for dandelions, order your bees, and pick up a new seed catalog. So come see us at Roswell Seed. Like Jim Gill would say, enjoy the warm days, but don't go far from the fire.
On Saturday, April 19th at 7 p.m., join the Spencer Theater and Eric Ellison for a heartfelt Gordon Lightfoot tribute. Known as the Lightfoot of the Rockies, Ellison will perform classics like The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, If You Could Read My Mind, and Sundown. Don't miss this evening of iconic melodies. Get your tickets online at spencertheater.com or by calling the box office at 575-336-4800. We'll see you at the Spencer.
The Roswell Symphony Orchestra presents Kinderman Plays Beethoven, Saturday, May 3rd, 7:30 p.m. at Pearson Auditorium in Roswell. William Kinderman returns to Roswell to perform Beethoven's Piano Concerto No. 5, Emperor, along with works by Weber, Dvorak, and Richard Strauss. Tickets are on sale now and are available at roswellsymphony.org or by calling 575-623-5882. Kinderman Plays Beethoven, Saturday, May 3rd, 7:30 p.m. at Pearson Auditorium in Roswell. Paid in part by the City of Roswell Lodgers Tax.
Hey, Roswell, during these unprecedented times when others are raising prices, Roswell Ford is lowering ours with employee pricing for everyone. So you pay what we pay. Only at Roswell Ford. Make no payments for 90 days. Upside down in your current vehicle and walk out early? Roswell Ford can help you get out of your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth, regardless of make, miles, or condition. So you can pay what we pay today with employee pricing to all customers on new Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. And our aggressive finance team will push to approve your credit, even if it's less than perfect. Attention business owners, Roswell Ford has a great selection of commercial vehicles, and we have them for less. Plus, Roswell Ford offers mobile services, so our certified technicians will come to you and perform oil changes, tire rotations, batteries, recalls, and more. Contact us for details. For massive American-made savings and employee pricing for everyone. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell. Call 575-623-3673 or online at roswellford.com. Interest accrues from date of sale on select vehicles. Trade balance refinanced to new loan subject to lender approval. Offers not combined. Expires in 1 cent.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The Goodyear Rubber Company researched and concluded that shoes wear out faster on the right foot than on the left. To fix this, just walk backwards for half the day. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 23 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, Fred Luna and Val Laura joining us in studio this morning. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Welcome, and thanks for coming in. And sounds like you got this is again one of these events. I hate that we're doing it because of the circumstances.
Yes, sir.
But this is how we make our community better,
Yes.
one at a time. This is one of these events that I keep telling people 1,000 times. If you're waiting on the city, the government, someone to make
not
your
gonna be
community
done.
better, you're going to be waiting a long time.
Yes, sir.
Right.
So you want to get up and rally and make your community better. This is how I do it. And this is, and really, this is a personal story to you, but at the same time, you're kind of turning your family's
Yeah.
loss
Yeah.
into how can we stop so some other family
Yeah.
doesn't deal with what I
Exactly.
dealt with.
That's
you
what I'm
know?
trying to do.
And so really that's what the 12th's all about is this event to come together.
To bring gun violence awareness, I mean.
To bring that awareness,
Yes.
but also provide resources for families and
Yes.
things. If you need immediate resources like food, I know like Food Not Bombs will be doing.
Food be out there, food not bombs. We got, like I said, stuff, different resources out there, I mean. to help out with the
the
community.
event will be here this the 12th, this
It'll be
Saturday.
Saturday
at Cahoon Park.
where the pond is at. It'll be
Mhm.
located there. We're having some jolly jumpers out there. Food.
Think of it like the picnic in the park kind of
we'll
event,
have, like,
except there'll be a lot bigger and a lot more stuff going
Yes, sir. Church on the Move will be out there serving the defenders. The
Excellent.
Guerreros will be doing the bike run and stuff like that. And we got stuff for the.
Oh, there's gonna be a bike run and
There'll be a
stuff too.
bike
So there's
run
gonna be
as
some
well.
entertainment in between the,
We got
other stuff, music and
Cross
things.
out there. He'll be out there live singing and stuff like that. He's one of the guys who's performing. And we'll have Fabian and I. He'll be doing DJ and stuff like that. And we're gonna try to see if we can get somebody else out there, some radio station out there. See if we can get them out there.
Play some music and what have
play
you.
some music stuff.
They'll
like
have
that.
the jumpers and
We'll have
everything
some
for the
jolly
kids
jumpers.
and
We
all
got
that.
barbecue going on. Rib cribs will be out there serving some hot links.
Oh,
too.
nice.
So it's gonna be a big event.
So
It's
the
gonna be
lots
nice.
will be food and really come one, come all, and
Yes.
it's really and this is just it. Come as you are. Come,
Yes.
you know, if you're coming because you need something to eat, come on down.
Come on down.
If you're
Yes,
coming,
sir.
Come in because maybe you or your family's been dealing with some stuff, and there's strength in numbers.
Yes.
And, there's people that have gone through or going through what you're going through, and this rally's for you too.
Yes,
This is
yes.
for
Just
and.
as much for me, for everybody else.
But it's really, like you said, it's to stop the violence. It's sad we have to say this, but this is the society we live in. As we get, and I get it, things are wrong, and the world's not perfect. Ain't nothing remotely about it.
Exactly.
But the things we do in a moment of emotion can impact our lives so much.
Yes, sir.
And if we can get people just to think for a minute before they do the thing that you can't walk back from.
Yep.
An argument, a yelling, even a slap down, you can walk back from that one.
Yes, sir.
But the moment you bring the guns out and you're killing somebody, you can't walk that back.
No, you can't.
There is
So many people lost their lives
Yeah.
at the park 3 years ago, you know what I mean? So many people, my sons lost their life, George lost his life. Even the kids that were involved in this, they lost their lives.
Well, and that's just
they're gone. You know what I mean? They're in jail, you know what I mean?
And this is the thing about it, it's forget circumstances, forget stories, and because anytime there's one of these, everyone's got an opinion.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter. We're talking about kids and guns, and none of this should be talking about.
Exactly.
When you're 15, 16, I'm sorry, you're supposed to be worrying about girls, boys,
Riding
the
bikes,
football
playing
game, whatever.
basketball,
You're supposed to worry about teenager things.
Having fun.
And that's
I'm having fun.
and we need to get back to that a little bit,
Exactly.
man. I get we got to prepare kids for adults. We don't got to hit them with all the adult stuff right away. You know what I'm saying? There's a time and a place and a maturity level at which to handle these things. And when you and this is maybe just something we as families need to talk about, because as kids and as we raise our kids, and kids feel like adults sometimes. I ain't gonna lie. You talk to them, you hear them, and you think, and they've got adult. And I'm like, yes, but at the same time, you don't have the experience and the know-how to process and understand what you're feeling right now. And to be honest, there's 50-year-old people that still ain't figured it out yet. But this is and unfortunately, when we talk, violence is at all levels.
Yes, sir.
But it hurts so much bad when we're seeing 15 and 16-year-old kids,
even younger,
involved or even younger involved in this kind of stuff. And that's where we're saying, you know what, this has got to stop. And so this is what this Saturday's about. Yes, we're going to come and have a party. We're going to have the kids.
Time, you know what I mean? But we're going to bring some awareness to the community, you know what I mean? And hopefully touch some lives, you know what I mean?
Talk about it.
Yes,
talk
sir.
about it. Let's
talk about it.
handle the elephant in the room and let's talk about it.
Get it out there, you know what I mean? And hopefully make a change.
This is how we fix it. And you got and because everyone's going to come from different walks of life, and we want that.
That's exactly.
We want people that maybe
from everywhere,
and people that maybe this isn't in your scope. Good, come down anyway and see it and hear and understand why it's here. That's the we all have our opinions, and we all are correct from our own perspectives at times, and that's our big problem in all this stuff. And I think it's just like, look, we all didn't come from the same place. What is normal to you is not normal to me sometimes. But that doesn't make it wrong. It's just different.
Yes.
And sometimes you got to understand. And to be honest, the things we're talking about stem from that. It's the simple, just I'm representing this, and therefore that's what it is, and this, and it's like, no, we're all the same, man. Yes, you didn't grow up where I grew up, but you know what? I like a good time like you like a good time. I love my family, and I want the best for my family just like you want the best for your family. And we all want that. And, okay, we all may say, oh, well, the best for me is this. Best for me. Okay, that's America. That's the beauty of it.
Everybody got their own way.
But we got to figure out a way to coexist. We got to figure out the way to say, hey, pursue your dreams while I pursue mine, and let's not step on each other's dreams. And if you can figure that out, then we ain't worrying about kids and guns and parks.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what we're, this is a bigger, we got to fix the mental health.
Yes.
And when we fix that, the gun violence, the drugs, the crime, that will go down. I guarantee it.
Exactly.
And because a lot of times the gun violence and stuff is to feed something else.
Yeah.
When you get people that are addicted to drugs and that kind of thing.
Guns don't kill people, you know what I mean? People kill people, you know what I mean?
But what puts them in the mindset, and then
alcohol, drugs, mental depression.
And when you go down a little bit, and you go down a little, then you do a little more, it still seems normal.
Yes.
And then next thing you know, you don't realize that you're so far off the path that normal was way back in the window here. And it's never overnight. It's never one day I'm good, the next day I'm off the rails. It's a little bit, and then you get there.
Yes.
And it's no different with our kids. It's no different in any other human being's life. And that's what Saturday's about. That's what it's. Let's come and recognize, celebrate, but also commiserate, to talk, to share, to say, hey, just because I live from a different part of town doesn't mean I don't like and do the same things you do.
You know what I mean?
We're all
equal.
It's all same patch of dirt, man. We all got to live here and coexist. Let's figure it out.
No matter what. No matter if you're on the north side, the south side, east side, west side. You know what I mean? We're all equal at the same time. You know what I mean?
I would point at things like the flood. The flood don't care.
Yeah, the flood. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because when the flood came, everybody coexisted. Everybody helped each other out.
There's millionaires and people ain't got two nickels rubbed together in the same situation right now.
Yes, sir.
And that's humanity.
Yeah.
And so come be a part of it. Come have fun.
Yes.
Come
that's
and
what
enjoy
it's
the
about.
music and eat the food. Bring the kids out, let them run in the jumpers and get them good and tired. So when you get home, they pass out on the couch. Get that. Do it.
That's what it's about.
But let's come and bring your family. Let's come and this is like a community event.
Yes, sir.
You know, because when you meet people and you talk to people and you like people, it's really hard to get mad at them. You know what I'm saying? When you learn about people and learn that,
got to get to know them.
Get to know them. We ain't different. We ain't different just because you're older than me or younger than me or you came from someplace that it's not. We're all the same, man.
We're all the same.
We're all Americans that want the American dream. You know what I mean? And that's what it's about. So
it is.
Come and at the same time, let's. If you need resources, like you said, we'll have the Food Not Bombs will be there. There's going to be some of the other, I know the health council's getting involved with the table and stuff. So all of their resources. So if you need like help with the flooding stuff still or any of that, those folks will be there.
Yes,
but at the end of the day, we really want to come and hear the stories and share, and let's talk about this. Let's find the next step together. Let's say, okay, we as a community can agree we got a problem here. How do we as a community come together to keep this? Is it stepping up our neighborhood watches, being good neighbors. That's start of it. Being the good neighbors and, because I know when I grew up, and I'm sure when y'all grew up, you didn't have just your parents watching it. You had like the neighborhood watching it. Yeah, you know what I mean?
I remember I go to neighbors, if I act stupid.
Your parents would out you.
The neighbors would whip my butt. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? And
I go home crying, and then when I get home, I'm crying again.
I feel like we've kind of lost a little of that, and technology.
We lost a lot of that.
Technology's kind of, internet and people, but we need to get back to that in our neighborhoods again. You need to know who your neighbors are. You need to know,
It's all about the respect.
Yeah, it's just, you don't have to love them, but you got to respect them.
Exactly.
And that's what it's about. So, and how do you respect? By common ground, talking to each other, seeing where everyone's coming from. Because till you don't know, you're going to assume the worst. They're either for me or against me, and that's humanity and that's
just mentality.
And unfortunately, that's the farthest from the truth. Is most of us are the same. We just look and say, okay, that person is slightly browner or blacker or whiter than me, and therefore they're going to be different. And I'm like, no, man, stop this. Stop.
Yes, sir.
We're all sitting here in Roswell together in the same thing. We all go to the same place to eat Mexican food. We go to the same place. You know what I mean? We all
end up at Margaritas or Cerritos or somebody.
We all have something common, man. So let's talk about that. Let's go. We all go to the Chili Cheese Fest. We all go to UF. We all go to these places. We all see each other. Let's come and say, hey, man, how you doing? Let's just be a community.
I'm trying to get everybody out there, man. Let's go have some fun.
Yeah. And I want to kind of talk about your business here, too, because you've kind of translated your business into this same kind of deal where you've got your GVA Mobile Wash, your own mobile wash company, but you work this. Your business model also works this part into it, too. That's a Murphy's Law, by the way. If you're on the radio and you don't have your phone, it will go off. That's a guarantee. It's like Murphy's Law. But anyway, no big deal. I do it all. That's how I forget. I'm like, oh crap. But I love this because at the end of the day, it's your business, feeding your family. But you're saying, you know what? I'm going to use this also as a platform to see what we can.
I use it, like I said, share my story with people. You know what I mean? And like I said, hopefully touch some lives. You know what I mean? That's what it is. And like I said,
I got a new Jeep too. I might need to call you up here, and after this rain, I got to treat it like news. Man. I got to get all them spots off.
We do it all. Come on, we do it all.
Yeah, and we also do fundraisers for people who have gone through the same thing.
Okay.
Lost their family member.
Exactly, like a family
to the gun violence.
Raise money to help cover.
So we'll usually do car washes and have people come by.
So we
and
see
take
guys out there doing the
donations.
car washes. Come on by and help out.
Being donated to the families.
Well, and that's because that's one of those things. When tragedy hits a family, we all know.
Yes.
You know, everyone brings food and all that, and that's great, and we love that. But generally speaking, if funerals are a big expense that is
It's a very big
unexpected,
expense. You know what I mean?
the last thing you want to do is having a body sitting waiting in a thing because they can't afford a funeral right now, and so. Let them focus on the grieving. Let us get the let them get them buried or cremated. Let us handle the finances of that. So as a family, you can do the proper grieving and and if there's bigger fish to fry, like you got to take care of kids and stuff, you can focus on that as opposed to.
And we'll get that done for y'all. Know what I mean? Help out
So
as
that's
much
kind of
as
where
we
your
can.
focus is
Yes,
on
sir.
now. And I'm going to take a stab that as your business grows and more money comes in, you can even offer more services to them.
And it's a great thing because even when we do these little car washes, just little fundraisers, you see so many people come together to help, just to hold up signs, just to wash, even though, we don't, they're not getting a share, whatever it is.
They just want to be a part of it.
They want to be a part of it. You see all these kids come out and help.
It feels good when you do
Yeah.
good things for other people. That's the other rub is you don't realize is when you're helping people that are less fortunate than you and you're able to make an impact in their life positively, that there's no drug higher than that. I'm telling you right now, that's the
I'll
fix.
tell you right now, it feels great. You know what I mean? And like I said, and it's honoring my son in a way. You know what I mean? So it feels
and I'm
great
so
that-
sorry for that.
you know what
I mean, it sucks that your family has to go through this to get here, but at the same time, it's God's blessing to
Yes,
all of
it
us
is.
because
You
of
know what I mean?
that.
Like I said,
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And so we are thankful, and I'm very happy that you and your family are using this for a positive.
Yeah.
Because
Like I
it's
said, most
so
people-
easy not to.
Oh, it's really easy.
It's easy to go spiral down, and most people expect it.
Yeah.
And,
A lot of people expect it.
And then we all talk about years later. Oh, it's so sad they had
Yeah.
this thing. It's like, no, we're gonna.
Well, like I said, I wanted to turn this into a positive.
Yeah.
No matter what it was. You know what I mean? Like I said, my son was a good kid. You know what I mean? His friend was a good kid. You know what I mean? They didn't deserve to go out like they did. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I decided
No
to turn,
teenager deserves to go out in any kind of way. It's just they're
so
too
like
young.
I said, you know what I mean? I just wanted to turn something into positive. You know what I mean? Instead of a negative, like everybody was expecting it. But like I said, nah, I wasn't gonna do it. You know what I mean? I wasn't gonna drag my son's name into the mud. You know what I mean? I wanted to make a positive influence on the community. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm sorry you're dealing with this, but I'm so happy that you and your family seem like they're in a good headspace in the right place to
We're in a way better place.
tackle this kind of thing, and that's and the fact that you're able to not only help and heal your own family, but now transition this to help other people who walk that same path your family has walked, and to do it in a way like this is awesome. So this is why. Folks, come on out and see it. Just come. Even if you're not familiar with it,
Come on out. Let's have some fun. And
have us some barbecue.
Eat some hot links and barbecues, man.
And just come out, and it's a picnic, man.
Yes,
it's
sir.
a party picnic, and at the end of the day, we want to show love and show
I want to show love to the community. And to
we have
everybody out
more in common than we do not.
Yes,
That
sir.
is the point of this, and obviously it's a little apropos that we're going to be at Cahoon Park, which it's the site of this tragedy in your family case. But let's face it. One of the more beautiful places in town to hang out is the Cahoon Park. If you want a place that doesn't feel like Roswell, go to Cahoon Park because it's got the big adult trees and green grass, and might remind you you're not in the desert anymore. And so it's a beautiful place to spend a weekend.
evening,
And
yes,
come
sir.
on out.
And
What time's everything getting underway out there?
Starts at 12. I'll be out there about 9, setting everything up. But it starts from 12 to 4 o'clock.
Very good. So come on out about
Yes, sir.
noon, and we'll go till the cows come home, basically.
So they
And
all pick up the jolly
till
jumpers.
the neighbors get mad and they kick us out.
Heck yeah.
But please come out and
Please do, man.
And if you've got questions or if you want to share or if you need needs, please reach out. Let's see if we can. But between your family and I know those other organizations with the Health Council and Food Not Bombs and all, there's a wealth of support and community to help you navigate pretty much whatever problem you're dealing with. If you're dealing with financial issues or food issues or home issues or any of those issues, there's going to be some people that can help you put you in the right direction with stuff too. And of course, if you're just like it, maybe your family's dealt. Unfortunately, you guys aren't an isolated tale, man. There's a lot of families dealing with the exact same thing as you guys are, and there's strength in numbers. Maybe you're not in a place like your family is. Maybe you need talk with some people that understand.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's the part is you probably get so many people. Oh, I'm so sorry. People like me saying it, but at the end of the day, you know, we can't relate unless you know what I mean. I mean, I can only fathom.
Yeah.
You know but until you walk that shoes, it's really hard to put your head in that place.
It's a rocky road, but like I said, God is good and God's been great. You know what I mean?
So sometimes talking to people that walk that path can make more headway than
Yes,
anything else can.
Yes.
And so it's no different than addicts and, you know, veterans. Yeah. You want to get a veteran to do something, even though they're stubborn-headed, get another veteran to talk
exactly.
about it. You want to get an addict to come, you know,
get another one. Yeah.
Have other addicts talk to them,
Yes,
and because they understand. And this is no different. You know, to get over that violence, sometimes you got to deal with people that have walked that path,
yes, sir.
and to heal and to get over that, because it's so easy to be angry and to hold on to this and to suck yourself and the whole family down into it. That's, you know, call it the devil at work, call it just life, call it whatever you want to call it. That's humanity and what happens. So let's fix that. Let's do better. Let's you know, we can't stop tragedy.
Yes.
You know, tragedy. I mean, we can mitigate it, we can control it. There's always you know, that's life. There's always going to be adversity, and how you handle it, how you recover from it, what you do from it, what you learn from it. That's what makes us better people.
Yes,
and,
sir.
And Saturday's one of those events.
Yes, sir. That's what it is, man.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, so come out. And like I said, it's going to be a lot of fun. I know we're getting serious and weighty, but at the end of the day, it's a cookout, man.
Yes.
It's a cookout. We're going to come. There's going to be
having a good
music,
time,
party,
having fun,
hanging out. Come meet
and
your
talking
friends.
and meeting
Come
other people, and
socialize.
that's what it is.
Yeah, come hang out.
That's what
Come
it's
out
all
and
about,
cookout. It's a family cookout. Is what it is. It's just kind of bigger.
Just a bigger.
Yeah.
We want everybody to be part of the family. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Come on out to
want the whole
Cahoon.
community to be part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so come out this Saturday, Cahoon Park.
12 o'clock.
Everything about
12 to
noon.
4.
Goes about 4. If you can't get there till 1 or 2 or 3, no biggie. Come on down.
Still be food.
Yeah, come out at 3:30. Maybe we can still, you know, we'll keep the lights on for you.
Heck yeah.
And of course, if you need a mobile wash here, or if you want to get, if you're saying, hey, dude, I love what you're doing here. Maybe I can piggyback or partner with you a little bit. Reach out. It's GVA Mobile Wash.
Yes, sir.
575-840-9134. Give that a call. Ask for Fred if you don't get someone don't sound like Fred.
Don't sound like Fred. It must be Val.
If it sounds like a lady, it's probably Val. It's a more deeper voice, that's probably Fred. But if you got neither, leave a voicemail.
Yes, sir. Please do.
You're probably gonna have to leave a voicemail.
Yeah.
Have you worked on your Fred impersonation? Maybe we could.
I'll have to.
Maybe just for the phone, just a mess up. One or two. Especially if you recognize the number. Oh, I know who this is. I'm gonna be Fred.
I'll find out. Yeah.
But I gotta have some fun. But more importantly, come out this Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Come out to Cahoon Park. Come ready to recreate. Come and have some fun.
Have some fun.
Right.
But if you do have questions or needs, please bring those as well, and let's see what we can do to get them solved for you.
Yes, sir.
Good deal. Well, thank you guys.
Yes, sir.
And anything we can do just to get your word out or help out, and anything to promote this stuff, please let me know.
All right.
Because
I appreciate you having us on, man.
Well, this is community stuff. This
Thank
is why I love Jocelyn. I mean, Jocelyn does do my video producing and stuff.
Okay.
So she kind of, that was her in.
All right.
But I love what organizations like that, because it's all grassroots. You know, the same kind of deal. They just collect food from generous people.
Yes.
And they say, all right, we got some food. We're going to show up somewhere and just start, no questions asked, start feeding. Could be Pioneer Plaza, could be, you know, weather usually dictates that.
Yeah.
But they do this almost daily basis, you know, and there's no government entity supporting it. There's no United Way tax dollar or donation dollars coming in. It's literally a bunch of caring people that wanted to see their community better. They take time. I know Jocelyn and all those volunteers,
Yes.
they literally are when they're working their day jobs, their own personal lives, and then on top of that, they're out going
taking out
and serving food on a Thursday or Friday afternoon somewhere, you know, and doing their thing.
Man.
So
Andrea's real good people too. Man.
and so that's and you guys are doing the same thing,
Yes.
and so I will support that all day on stuff
sir.
like this,
Appreciate
because
you.
this is what we got to do to fix it. You know, this is our town, man. This is where we live. This
That's
is
where we grew up.
and the
I mean,
only
it's
people
home.
care about it the way that it needs to be is the people living in it.
Yes, sir.
You know, outside they want to come and see our cool aliens and go spend a little money. Come do that,
Yeah.
but then they leave.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
They leave with the alien dirt.
exactly.
They
So,
leave with alien
and we're
dirt.
glad they do. We'll take it. But if you want to see more of this, you want to see things that are on the, you know, these parks, these things we have, these amazing assets. foster them, to keep them, to make them better,
Yes, sir.
it's going to be you, me, and everyone that lives here.
Yes,
That's
sir.
that's who's going to make it.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
doing what
Thank
you
you.
guys doing.
Okay.
Hopefully, I'm seeing like 37 of those vehicles with your logo and everything running around.
That's what I'm saying.
We got 30 Freds running around washing cars.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
That's
See
the
30
idea,
of me
man.
out there. Yeah.
Love it. Good
we
deal.
know we'll be able to hustle then.
Exactly. But man, I'm gonna. The water conservation board's getting mad at me because I'm busy washing all these cars.
That'd be great to see 30 of those vehicles going.
That's pretty cool. But thank you guys. Is there anything we missed? Anything you guys wanted to
No.
share?
No.
Anything that we just wanted to talk about?
I think we covered it all. This is our third year doing this.
Be our third year,
You
So
know,
bigger.
bigger. We're
Excellent.
working harder than we
So
have.
hopefully number 4 will even be bigger than this.
sir.
Yes,
That's
hopefully
kinda
we
it.
get
I
it
said we're
going.
learning. This is learning.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Let's say you guys just a family trying to get together. Now
Yeah.
you're getting in the community game
yeah.
here
Now
on
it's
some
in
of
the
this
community.
stuff.
Now
Yeah.
it's a different ball game for me. But hey,
Well, and I'm sure you're
I'm
learning
gonna
on
learn
the
it.
fly because
Yes,
you've hit
sir.
a lot of walls and things. Because
Yeah. I'm learning.
Folks, if you're dedicated to help people, you're going to hit a lot of walls trying to help.
Oh yeah.
It's
I found that
amazing.
out this
It's
week.
amazingly hard to help
I
people.
found that out this week.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, and I get it. I get their logic because unfortunately there are so many people that try to take personal advantage of things like
Yes,
this,
sir.
and so we've got to have some kind of vetting system for that.
Yeah.
But it really does deter people. They're just trying to just
makes
give a guy a sandwich or something. You know what I mean?
It makes you more
it's just-
determined, though. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know what? That's what.
Yeah.
I mean,
And that's where folks like your family are so important.
Know what I mean?
Because
Like I said,
despite the obstacles,
yeah, all the obstacles came my way, made me more determined to go.
the bullhead
bro,
will
know what I
save
mean?
the day.
You know what I mean? I jumped over them.
You know what?
But I got it.
I'm kind of that mindset myself, and I know we live in a world where us bullheads sometimes get a bad light. But you know what? When push comes to shove, it's the bullhead that pushes the needle sometimes,
Yes,
or
sir.
gets you across the goal line.
Heck yeah.
But so thank you guys, and thank you for what you do, and we're praying for you guys, and as more continued strength, and as you guys continue to heal to this day. I'm very sure that you guys are still processing and dealing. Time heals, but
it's still,
it hasn't been that much time. It's
3 years, but
has it been? I can't believe it's been 3 years. Like I feel like it's been sooner than that.
Yeah, it feels like
Yeah.
this.
I feel like we're just talking about the papers and all that here.
Well, like I said, we're still going to courts. We already went to. Like I said,
Oh, the
here.
legal stuff will keep going.
Oh yeah, like I said, I mean, it still brings it up, but like I said, we're still moving on.
Your
with
child
positive
probably
act-
would have been 35 by the time the legal stuff gets in. You know, I mean, that's the sad. I'm sorry to still tell you that, but that's the world we live in.
Yeah,
You know, it's
correct.
just the nature of the beast here. But in the meantime, we do what we can do.
Yes, sir.
And what we can do is rally, support,
Yes,
and let's
make
prevent
positive
so
things going
no
on.
other families are dealing with what your family is dealing with.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
I appreciate you, man.
All right, man.
Thank you very
thank
much.
you.
All right.
Don't work too hard now.
No, you won't.
Smell some roses down there.
Heck yeah.
All right, it is 9:48. Let's pause for news, Hannity, sports, some ads, and weather and some other things. Don't go away.
Now for your Pecos Valley news update. I'm Jared Sorello. An update on the measles situation. The New Mexico Department of Health now reporting an unvaccinated child in Chavez County is diagnosed with measles. The diagnosis makes Chavez the third county affected by the ongoing measles outbreak in the southeastern part of New Mexico. As of Tuesday, the total number of measles cases in New Mexico was 56. All but 3 of the cases, however, are in Lee County. 2 are in Eddy County. Chavez County borders both of those counties. The New Mexico Department of Transportation District 2 office will begin a nearly $2 million pavement preservation project on New Mexico 2 between Dexter and Hagerman. The project on New Mexico 2 from milepost 16 to 23 includes an overlay on the existing asphalt and restriping of the roadway. The overlay is a method in which an application of asphalt is applied over the existing surface. The process prolongs the lifespan of the road without full reconstruction. Again, expect delays on New Mexico 2 between Dexter and Hagerman starting today. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Waking up on the right side. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
We're a country that is now headed to $40 trillion in debt. We are a country where Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, they're all headed towards insolvency. We are a country that needs to invest in our energy infrastructure so we become energy dominant, which also would benefit our allies and friends, especially in Western Europe, which gets most of the lifeblood of their economy, energy from Russia. I think it's very, very important that we understand where we are as a country. We, for the most part, especially our allied friends, they benefit from the $1 trillion that we spend, your money, every single year on national defense.
From coast to coast, from sea to shining sea, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
Now, don't get suckered into the same old free phone game by Big Wireless that comes with a lot of fine print, plus. Oh, in other words, you pay more. At the end of the day, you paid for that, quote, free phone 3 times over. There is a better way. Pure Talk, my cell phone provider, a veteran-owned company, my sponsor, my wireless company, has a much better offer. A free phone with a qualifying plan for just $35 a month, and you get a brand-new Samsung Galaxy A26. Just make the switch to Pure Talk for $35 a month. You get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 15 gigs of data with mobile hotspot and roaming, all on America's most dependable 5G network. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword save now, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you make the switch in as little as 10 minutes. Again, pound 250, keyword save now. Get your free Samsung Galaxy with a qualifying plan when you switch to Pure Talk. Wireless by Americans for Americans.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Roswell Coyotes baseball team in action yesterday hosting Artesia. Roswell had won 3 straight, but they fell to the Bulldogs 14-0. This game was actually reasonably close. It was 5-0 after 5 innings, but Artesia exploded for 9 in the top of the 6th. The Coyotes just couldn't scratch out a hit. Well, they scratched out 1 against Artesia pitcher Jack Byers in the shutout. Meanwhile, it was NMMI playing at East Mountain. Tough district game. The Colts hadn't lost one yet, but they fell to East Mountain yesterday by a score of 3-2. East Mountain got 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th to win that one. NMMI will next play Gateway Christian next Monday at 6 o'clock. And it was Dexter beating Bosque 16-5. Dexter's now 5-7. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. No big changes for a while. Temperatures will stay warm and the weather pattern looks dry with that big high pressure system settling overhead. Sunshine today. We're headed for the upper 80s. Wind should stay fairly light. Down to the upper 40s and low 50s for the overnight hours and clear. And then we get a sunny Thursday. Looks like mid to upper 80s, low 80s, and sunny on Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. It was a sharply lower open this morning for Wall Street as the tariff dispute between Washington and Beijing heats up. President Trump's 104% tariff on Chinese goods kicked in at midnight. And then China announced it's boosting retaliatory tariffs on American goods from 34 to 84%. That will take effect tomorrow. Overseas, Asian and European stock markets have been lower as well. Delta Airlines managed to top Wall Street's financial expectations in the first quarter of the year, but the airline is trimming the number of planes it's adding this year, given current economic conditions. Delta is also holding off on providing an updated full-year financial forecast. Delta CEO Ed Bastian says with broad economic uncertainty around global trade, growth has largely stalled. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Asian Market brings the flavors of the East to Roswell. The market side has lots of new and different items, including new sauces and noodles to enhance your Asian dishes, plus new snacks and more. And the restaurant inside Asian Market has all Nook's favorites from 11 to 5, like wontons, egg drop, rice or noodle soup, crispy calamari, and the best barbecue fried rice in town. Dine in or call ahead for easy pickup. And find Asian Market on Facebook for updates on open times and specials.
Hi, this is Nok. Come see me at Asian Market, 5702 South Main in Roswell. Call 575-840-5309.
The Roswell Public Library presents America's Western storyteller, Bob Bose Bell. Bob is an artist and writer and serves as the executive editor at True West Magazine and will be hosting an art show and book signing at the Roswell Public Library on Friday, April 11th from 5 to 7 p.m. Bring out the whole family for this free event with Bob Bose Bell, Emmy Award winner as executive producer of the PBS special Outrageous Arizona, best-selling author of many books including Bad Men, Classic Gunfighters 1, 2, and 3, The 66 Kid, and more. That's Friday, April 11th, 5 to 7 p.m. at the Roswell Public Library. Come join us.
Hey, Roswell, during these unprecedented times when others are raising prices, Roswell Ford is lowering ours with employee pricing for everyone. So you pay what we pay. Only at Roswell Ford. Make no payments for 90 days. Upside down in your current vehicle and want out early? Roswell Ford can help you get out of your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth, regardless of make, miles, or condition. So you can pay what we pay today with employee pricing to all customers on new Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. And our aggressive finance team will push to approve your credit, even if it's less than perfect. Attention business owners, Roswell Ford has a great selection of commercial vehicles, and we have them for less. Plus, Roswell Ford offers mobile services, so our certified technicians will come to you and perform oil changes, tire rotations, batteries, recalls, and more. Contact us for details. For massive American-made savings and employee pricing for everyone, get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell. Call 575-623-3673 or online at roswellford.com. Interest accrues from date of sale on select vehicles. Trade balance refinance to new loan subject to lender approval. Offers not combined. Expires in 1 cent.
Edge Safety and Services, LLC in Artesia, New Mexico has an immediate opening for roustabout crew and a safety technician. Position requires a clean driving record and must be able to pass a drug and alcohol screening. Edge Safety offers great pay with IRA benefits and employer contribution towards health benefits. Please email resumes to edgecoding@yahoo.com or apply in person at 2801 North Freeman in Artesia. Edge Safety and Services is an equal opportunity employer.
A bedroom is a quiet escape where I go for peace and comfort. This is Melanie at Glenn's Furniture. I know how important the most private room in your home is for your life and the lives of your family. That's why we offer a selection of bedroom groups that make living easier and more comfortable. Modern designs, bold curves, and stylish fabrics elevate your bedroom space. You'll find your new set easy to sleep on and even easier to own. Come see us at Glenn's on the corner of Union and Alameda, where delivery is free since 1953.
Get a seamless built-in look for your kitchen with a KitchenAid flush design dishwasher. With a panel-ready door and flush installation, this dishwasher fits evenly with countertops and cabinetry when installed in a standard cabinet depth of 24 inches. Shop KitchenAid flush design dishwashers at Bush Appliance in Roswell. From cabinets to appliances to installation, one call does it all. Bush Appliance, 111 West Country Club in Roswell.
Hugh Hewitt is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM KEND Roswell.
And it is 9:58. Got about a minute or so here before they kick me off the radio. If you missed any part of our show today, I invite you to check it out at your leisure. You can log on to ksvptv.com, click on the Mornings with Mike Winters channel there, and you'll find all of our interviews. This morning, here in the 7 o'clock hour, we had the folks from the Drought Contingency Task Force join us. Chantel, Todd, and Tom Jennings had a great conversation with them. Invite you to check that out, especially if you have more interest in the water. We talked Roswell Independent School District in the 8 o'clock hour. We had the Director of Research, Assessment, and Accountability, Kenneth Bewley, join us. He gave us the recap of the school board meeting and talked a little bit about the assessment side of the job a little bit, too, because that's his wheelhouse. So we had a great conversation with him. And, of course, we just had Fred and Val join us talking about the Stop the Violence event happening here this Saturday at Cahoon Park beginning at noon. Come on out, bring the family, and they're going to have cookouts and all kinds of stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun there. But all of those interviews you can find at ksvptv.com. Give us a few minutes here after the show. Roy will go through and separate the interviews from the main portion of the show, and you can find them by itself there as well, too. So it'll all be there, but give them about 45 minutes to an hour to get that stuff separated, transferred, and all that good stuff. Do all the computer stuff to it. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of your day. We greatly appreciate it. Have an amazing day, and we will be back bright and early, 7 a.m. tomorrow. Take care.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. There's light at the end of the tunnel. After days of deluges, overfilled rivers to near record levels across Kentucky, residents anxious to return to their flooded homes and assess what is salvageable. Franklin County, Kentucky resident Susan Williams.
This is months of work, absolute months of work. It's not going to be solved in a couple of weeks. It's going to be months because you have to pull the drywall, you have to pull the insulation, you have to let everything dry out, and then start again.
Water slowly receding in flooded Frankfort. Governor Andy Beshears urged patience and caution, asking people to wait if they couldn't get to their homes without driving through water. Storms in the last week have killed at least 23 people. Also at townhall.com, China says it will fight newly applied U.S. tariffs, announcing it is raising its retaliatory tariff on the U.S. to 84%, up from 34% effective April 10th.
Foreign Ministry spokesman Lin Jian said at a daily briefing that China would by no means accept the US tariff hikes and extreme pressure exerted on China. Lin repeated China's assertion that it would fight to the end against what is described as trade bullying by the US, but did not say whether it would add to the 34% tariffs earlier announced on US imports or apply other means. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
4 people have been charged in connection with a shooting that killed 3 people and wounded 3 others in Virginia. The Spotsylvania Sheriff's Office says all 4 suspects, 2 16-year-olds, a 17-year-old, and an 18-year-old, are charged with malicious wounding and felony firearm use. A man convicted of killing a Miami Herald employee who was carjacked on her lunch break has been executed in Florida. Michael Tansey received a lethal injection for the April 2000 strangling death of Janet Acosta. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Financing a home, especially in today's market, is one of the biggest decisions you'll make for your family. Work with a mortgage company that puts you first. I do. Work with a lender founded on biblical principles like do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. I do. It's Mike Gallagher for the only mortgage company I've used for almost a decade now when financing or refinancing Fellowship Home Loans. I'm friends with the owners, Mike and Brian. I even have them on my show occasionally. I know the care their team puts into every single customer. I can personally tell you that it's a smooth, stress-free process, and that's due to Fellowship's level of service and expertise that puts you in the right loan for your family and your goals. There's a reason Fellowship Home Loans is flooded with 5-star reviews. Whether purchasing a home or a cash-out refi to consolidate some higher interest debt, you can trust Fellowship Home Loans. Start the process. Make the call. 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
As we hear in this BBC report, rescuers continue searching the rubble of a nightclub in the Dominican Republic. Yesterday's roof collapse killed at least 124 people, including a provincial governor and 2 former Major League Baseball players. BBC correspondent Mimi Swaby.
The death toll of this tragedy keeps growing. It keeps going up as about 400 rescuers are trying to get through the rubble of this collapsed nightclub, the Jet Set nightclub. But family members are now anxiously waiting around this area, trying to have any news of loved ones who were thought to be in the nightclub. One of the issues, though, for rescue workers is that they're not sure how many people were in the nightclub during the concert of Ruby Perez, a really popular Dominican merengue singer whose concert it was, when the roof collapsed. So they're not sure how many people need to be accounted for.
Breaking news and analysis.